up, Woodward. We are starting off your day with a brand new crew. Meet Broder.
I can't control my arms sometimes. My limbs are just kind of flying.
Detroit Kool-Aid.
Fired up!
Y'all got Kool-Aid.
I'm fired up! But with the Wake Up Woodward crew, he's actually a part of the family.
Flannel Sam.
Ask me about my wiener. Okay.
Along with JB and KG. Wake Up Woodward gets you all of your Detroit sports talk. Every morning, 8 to 10 a.m. Live on Woodward Sports. A show for Detroit, by Detroit, with people from Detroit. Tell Siri to set an alarm. Because it's time to Wake Up Woodward.
Turn me up! What up, dope people? It's Wake Up Woodward. What a victory show. Dog, the Pistons got that get back. Hey, those who know, you know, man. After they came into our building and sunk 2004 Honor Night last year, we had boots on the ground in the building. It was great vibes. We saw the 04 Pistons team. Man, Cade Cunningham in prime time.
Oh, yeah.
Triple-double. Hits the three, two big threes really
Two
down
big
the stretch,
threes, yeah.
But hits the eventual game winner. Man, it's Wake Up Woodward. It's your boy Brandon, a.k.a. Detroit Kool-Aid, credential Pistons reporter, writer for the network, Flannel Sam. You are beaming right now.
JB, put the camera on Will for a second. Okay. Yes,
That's the real money.
He's sizzling over there.
Hey, that's what Cade Cunningham was the last minute of the game. Because you mentioned it, not only the basically de facto buzzer beater to win the game in Bam Adebayo's face, by the way, which made it that more sweet. But it was also when they were down by one, Cade hit a big three off a big Jalen Duren offensive rebound and fine to give them a 2-point lead. Of course, we know Tyler Hero sunk a couple of free throws, but then Cade Cunningham on national TV, when some of the audience was excited for this game and some of them were probably just waiting to see the Lakers play, all of them got to see Cade Cunningham really have one of his signature and pivotal regular season moments up to this point, and that's the type of stuff that MVPs do. It just is.
And you know what, man? It was amazing to see the NBA world light up as if they've been there the entire time. Kendrick Perkins, though, he is one that the entire time, even when it was bleak, he would always chirp some positivity about the Pistons and Cade Cunningham. Last night, he says, Mr. First Team All-NBA Cade Cunningham with the game winner. And you know what? How about some more primetime games? Bobby Marks says we need more Detroit games on national TV. Time to put more of a spotlight on Cade Cunningham. And we know this. We've said this. We knew that Cade Cunningham was a worthy talent. We knew that he would eventually get there. But winning heals all wounds, and we see exactly what it's doing for this Detroit Pistons team right now. In a big spot, in the big stage, bright lights, man, and against a team that plays very similar to them physically. They turn defense to offense well, but they have this one kind of kryptonite to the Pistons, and it is that outside shooting, and they still found a way last night.
They still found a way, and Maddie Fresh in the Woodward Sports chat, thank you for $10. Triple double game winner, national TV. Cade is him. Detroit is here. I'll tell you what, I was on one last night. That was one of the most excited I've been in a Pistons regular season game in a while, because as you know, I'm a big Pistons fan. I think we cover the Pistons at better than anybody in the space. I know I'm a little biased, but I know we certainly give our time to the Detroit Pistons. But also, I'm a Cade Cunningham stan, and last night seeing him get the game winner, seeing him make a couple of big shots down the stretch, and make a big defensive play a couple of possessions previous in a transition block, I just harken back to, and I promise I will let this go. I will let this go moving forward. I was told at points during the year that Cade Cunningham was a problem in the fourth quarter. I was told that he needed somebody else on the team to be the closer. God, when not only do the Pistons get the win, but Cade is smashing narratives, that's about as sweet as can get. I couldn't be happier right now.
You know why I'm dancing, final? Because it's music to my ears.
Yes.
That's why. These are things that we've all known, and Cade Cunningham has shown these things since his rookie season. But people, because of, like we said, the lack of team success, the lack of the proper build around them, the lack of coaching, because now we're definitely seeing how much this matters. Those are some of the more major factors as to why the Detroit Pistons were not achieving. They fixed a couple of those things. Cade Cunningham still looks like Cade Cunningham. But now we're seeing what happens when those, what was he doing? One of those top players at potential assists over the years?
Yeah.
Well, now those are actual assists over the years. He's put on a little bit of muscle. He's put on a little bit more weight, and we see him being more physical. That's what's contributing to more triple-doubles rather than just double-doubles with the Cade Cunningham. So these players are putting in the work, but it's still more of the same of what we've seen from Cade, just a natural progression as he continues to get better and the talent and the coaching around him gets better. And even Tom Gorse, there's been years where people wanted to see him there. Right now, he's being, I believe, the quintessential kind of perfect owner. He has erased his mistakes, made up for them, turned it over to the basketball people, and he's empowered them. And now this Detroit Pistons team is winning. And I believe he's given up his seats to, like, city people this year. You know, you got Jalen Rose and a slew of people who represent the city on the national stage that sit in those seats. And so I'm like, you know what? All right. Let's keep that mojo and those vibes going because everything is working for this Detroit Pistons team. And let the people know what else is on the menu. I know Pistons Talk is heavy today, but definitely let the chat family know what else we got cooking.
Well, it's a big day in sports, period, because we all know this is I know Tuesday and Wednesday had some games, but the Thursday, the opening day of the NCAA tournament, that's a really big day in sports. And me as a Michigan fan, Justin is here as a Michigan as well. You, Kool-Aid. It's been a couple of years since we've got to see Michigan have this moment on this type of stage, and we're going to preview their matchup against UC San Diego. I think there's a lot of interesting angles to that, but also there's a certain SEC edge rusher that Mel Kiper Jr. mocked to the Detroit Lions at 28. No trade-ups needed, at least according to Mel Kiper Jr. And we're going to break this down as a WUW Crew. I know KG's got some notes on this player.
I think it's one of his
do as well. Absolutely, one of my picks. And I even got a little bit of a highlight reel as well. We're going to break this down as a crew. So basically a lot of TLB in draft and NCAA tournament. But first, of course, and we've already started, Detroit Pistons deserve all the flowers for last night.
Dog, they do. And you know one player, it's like a lot of players. There's a lot of players I was proud of last night because think about everything that this Detroit Pistons team did in a game like that, and not just in a game like that. You look at their record, you look at them winning, you look at them tied with the Bucks right now for that 5th seed, and they're still just outside that 4th seed. This is beyond just kind of growth and maturation at this point in time. This team has just completely arrived. And they're handling the physicality. They are handling the shooting, the off-shooting nights. They're handling Cade double teams. They're handling not getting the whistles. They're handling the pressure moments to close out games right now where teams are battling. The Heat are battling right now for their postseason positioning in lives. And that, to me, in somebody else's building, against a team that's really haunted you, against a player like Bam, who has completely been a Pistons killer.
Yeah, and he was last night, too.
But it was just the way that this team battled. You look at that. They said it on the broadcast several times. This Detroit Pistons team has been the best defensive team since January 1st. And that's in this type of an NBA to win that game, 116-113, physical, a lot of defense to offense on both sides. And Miami, who can absolutely light you up from behind the arc. That, to me, was a character win by the Detroit Pistons, one that you want to see as you're approaching postseason, where I know their mentality isn't, let's just go and get swept like the 2 previous teams. Let's just go and feel good about ourselves because we won a game. I sense that this team feels that they are a team worthy to host a playoff game, a playoff series, and I do believe that they are a team that believes they can get to the second round. I don't know why Dennis Schroeder, Malik Beasley, Tobias Harris, or Tim Hardaway would think that, why can't we get there? I don't know why they would doubt that. And this young squad, you think Cade is doubting himself?
No.
This team has all of the makings mentally. They got the coaching, and what we see them doing on the floor right now is proving to me that they're ready for this type of basketball.
Oh, yeah, and one of the hallmarks to me of playoff basketball, and it's something that you've seen the Pistons do. We all know that they turn defense into offense, and when they run out in transition, they've got a lot of dogs who can either finish or create. But when you look at certain games like last night, most of Cade Cunningham's assists were in the half court, creating opportunities for guys like Tobias Harris and Ausar Thompson and even Malik Beasley from a three. And we all know that in playoff basketball, whistles get swallowed a little bit. The game slows down. You need to be able to execute in the half court. And Cade Cunningham, there are very few people in the NBA. Honestly, as a biased Pistons fan, there's nobody that I'd rather have in the NBA running half court offense than Cade Cunningham because he's been so damn effective at it all year long, including last night.
Bro, man, if you could see that last note, very impressed with Pistons half-court offense in the second half.
Yes.
JB Bickerstaff talked about the fact that they needed to get more motion and more movement. These are things we talked about for a while because they got a lot of athletic players, a lot of speedy guys, a lot of guys who can get to the rim and finish effectively, whether they're dunking the ball or laying it up or trying to shoot that short floater or even a mid-range. And we saw Ron Holland be one of those first guys to respond to that in the second quarter with a couple end-to-end layups, and one of them being an and one. And that type of energy is why I say, you know what, you always need that type of a guy in your rotation, especially when you're talking postseason. But in that second half, there was so much, and I got a screen cap, man. I'm telling you, with this stuff, our minds are so in sync. And I got this screen cap that I'm going to send over to JB. Ooh. That just, it's the definition of gravity. It just is. And it's on the play where Cade crossed over. He was utilizing the pick and roll, still crossed over, got into the middle of the lane, and was able to dump it off to Ausar Thompson for a wide open half-court dunk. Off of a half-court set. And how many times did we see it? Whether it was Ausar Thompson several times, whether it was Cade Cunningham getting there for just easy layup, whether it was Tobias Harris dunking on people in the half-court sets. This team is evolving, and these are the types of things that we can remember. When you think back to the good Pistons teams, yes, defense was a part of it, but think back to their half-court offenses and how they were able to, okay, we can slow the game down, and how can we still win? Because we're going to execute in the half-court. And that's what we're seeing this team really, really learning how to do more effectively than they were earlier in the season. Oh,
and you need that in order to win, especially playoff games, and I highlighted that before. And I also wanted to highlight, because a lot of this offense came in the half court as well, Cade Cunningham was fantastic last night. He had his moment on national TV. He had his buzzer beater, his clutch moments down the stretch, his real putting the NBA on notice that he is a viable MVP candidate, or at least somebody to get votes. But at the same time, what I liked about this game was it was a very well-rounded effort as well. You mentioned Tobias Harris, 13 points, 5 rebounds, 4 blocks on 6 of 9 shooting. That's a perfect Tobias Harris game right now. Ausar Thompson gave you the most points he's had in a game since March 3rd. Remember when Ausar Thompson was on that heater where he was doing basically everything and averaging damn near 13 points a game for a month, and it looked like the Pistons were unbeatable with Ausar playing like that? Well, he had one of those games last night, and he did the best job out of any Piston by far on guarding Tyler Hero, to the shock of absolutely no one. Jalen Duren, a 15 and 11 double-double. Malik Beasley, 5 of 10 from 3. Holland and Stu combined for 6 of 8 from the floor in limited minutes, doing what they do, which is impact the game greatly while playing 15 to 20 minutes. You absolutely love to see it. And of course, it all goes back to Cade Cunningham, though, because as I mentioned before, a lot of those Tobias and Ausar looks were generated by Cade Cunningham. 4 out of Tobias Harris's 6 field goals were assisted by Cade Cunningham. So everybody played splendidly that needed to play splendidly, but Cade just makes all of those guys that much better.
Yep, and JB, I just sent you over a picture, and I'm going to send you in a zoomed-in version as well that just shows what the definition of true gravity is. And just the way that the entire defense focuses in on the type of player that Cade Cunningham is. Because when they did the coach's interview for Coach Spoelstra, it was interesting with his comments. He was like, you know what? Yeah, we're ready for this. It's the type of stuff that we're made for, blah, blah, blah. Let's go. And then he came back though and said, but it's the fourth quarter. Mind you, There are people out there who don't believe what Coach Spoelstra believes, all right? Coach Spoelstra says fourth quarter, though. We know that this is a quarter that Cade Cunningham is going to be, trying to go off.
Huh.
It's scouting report, huh? Coach Spo, one of the most respected coaches and a decorated coach in this era of NBA basketball. And it's like they all know. Steve Kerr came here and had some good things to say. The NBA main account did what? They put off a series of just promotional tweets and posts about the Detroit Pistons. And one of them was a reel of different stars and his teammates and other players from KD to others all talking about who Cade Cunningham is as a star. Yep. Even Paolo Banchero. I liked his comments, I think, more than anyone else's because you're talking about a peer. Yeah. You're talking about a guy who they're going to be compared to for a long time. But to see Cade Cunningham rising above it all, because why couldn't their team have been one of those all dysfunction teams? Look at what they've been through the last 2 years. Yeah. But you see Cade stepping into this stardom, and you see this team following suit right now. And that to me is why Cade Cunningham deserves all the recognition that he's starting to get, and it's going to only grow from here.
I wonder if games like these and other games, of course, are going to catapult Cade Cunningham into an actual top 5 MVP, at least in terms of getting votes, because I've been on this for a while that I would put Cade third in my MVP ballot, of course, after SGA and Nikola Jokic. And when you look around the NBA, and I know I've said this before, but I will continue to say it as new information continues to present itself. Jalen Brunson, he might not qualify due to games played. He's had some injuries, and I think that, or he has an injury right now, and I think that Cade Cunningham has had a better season anyway. Donovan Mitchell, although he's been exactly what the Cavaliers have needed, and he's been great for them, I just don't think he has the numbers.
Much help too.
And I think he's got so much help because people are talking about Evan Mobley as an MVP candidate as well, and of course we all know about Jared Allen and Darius Garland. You look at Jason Tatum. The Celtics are stacked, and they're not going to get the 1 seed. I think a 1 seed was a prerequisite for Jason Tatum winning MVP. He's not going to get it. Anthony Edwards has been on an absolute heater, but if the Timberwolves are in the play-in, he's not going to get MVP consideration, whether fair or not. A guy like LeBron, who's had a great season, is not going to qualify due to injury. And think about this. If the Pistons finish ahead of the Milwaukee Bucks in the standings, can you really justify putting Giannis above Cade in the MVP race? I don't think that you can. So all of those qualifiers lead me to believe that Cade Cunningham will end up as a top 5 MVP candidate.
It's and that's the thing. As the winning continues to happen, it does. That is the ultimate magnifier on the effect that Cade Cunningham is truly having on this team and who he is as a basketball player, and that's only going to grow. When you talk about the face of the leagues, I do believe that Cade Cunningham is one of those faces of the leagues. He is a top 3 face of this league when you talk about the future faces. I can't, realistically, you got, Ant-Man up there. Who else would you put up there?
In terms of faces of the league?
Faces of the league. Because I get people want Jason Tatum up there, but if I had to choose right now which player do I think could better carry that mantle, I'm sorry. With all of his accomplishments, I would still take Cade Cunningham.
Well, if I were to pick a face of the league, I would put Luka, Nikola Jokic, and Giannis in consideration, but we all know they just want American players. And even SGA, he's Canadian, and I've said this before, but as far as American stars, it's got to be Ant-Man, Cade, and Jason Tatum. Those are the 3. Yeah, it has to be. Yeah.
Those are the 3, and that's where, as long as Cade continues to have a little bit better success than Ant-Man, as it relates to team success, and if Cade Cunningham can continue to effectively usage-wise pull the load for the Detroit Pistons without the help that a Jason Tatum has, that's where I do believe that these narratives start to really play in his favor. You talk about, we see now with the Lions and other teams, and now even with the Pistons, players are saying that they want to be here. Now that there's an era of winning here, now that there's playoffs, now that there's a foundation, now that you got a coach that players are saying the same things about, starting to say the same things about JB Bickerstaff that we hear Detroit Lions fans say about Dan Campbell, this becomes much more attractive situation to be able to bring in more or less those players that you think can help your team get to the next level. And there's so much good happening right now, including when Trajan Langdon said, I didn't quite think that we were going to reach this point this fast, so we know that it did have to change some of their strategy, but it did. And you know what? They have the assets to do what they need to do to make this thing way less of a flash in the pan and way more of the norm.
Oh, I think they're definitely set up for present success and future success. And speaking of the Pistons, I got a couple of super chats to read from Dante 151. This is one from the beginning of the show. This is in all caps, by the way. I won't scream it. Hey, Stick, put some MF in respect on Cade Cunningham, a.k.a. Cade Cunningham. MVP, 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 MVP. Let's go, Pistons. Hey, I promise I will let this go after today. Never forget how ruthless Stick was when it comes to Cade Cunningham. How many times I fought for my life for that man. How many times Stick just said some of the most unfair things you could ever say about a basketball player, saying that he's not a winner, saying that he's been a disappointment because the team isn't doing well enough around him. He's come along, don't get me wrong, but he still, I don't think, has repented enough for saying that he believed Cade Cunningham should have been traded. He's trying to spit shine that now, but never forget. And this is another one from Dante151. And I'm going to direct this more at JB because Chase has softened more than JB. Can we get an attaboy out of JB and Chase for Tobias Harris? Because he's been balling for the Pistons again and fun to see again.
I see it in JB's face no matter what he says next.
Now we need to root for the Lakers to beat the Bucks tonight. Fine. JB. Come on.
Tobias, you did all right.
There we go. That is just as good. And Chase, you don't need to repent for anything because you've been a lot. You've softened, but JB certainly needed to repent a little bit.
Chase was his de facto motivator.
I feel like I've been like pretty consistent and steady in my stance. I feel like I think it's been a fair stance, and
I mean the rebounds was a little crazy, but
I don't think it was crazy. I think I asked for 5 or 6, and then what he started doing right after I asked for that, he started getting about 5 or 6 a game. So we knew he was capable of it, and he knew he was capable. His career averages showed that. So the effort could have been better. It started to show a little bit better.
You're telling me that Tobias is a Cavassier Chase fan?
Hey, maybe. I don't know.
Let's go.
Hey, I'll say I was a number 34 Tobias fan his first time with the Pistons. I would like to be a number 12 Tobias fan too.
And to be fair to Chase and JB, Tobias deserved criticism for how the season started. It's okay to be like, damn, Tobias, you've really turned it around. And we know, all of us, JB, Chase included, that in order for the Pistons to win a playoff series, Tobias Harris will have to loom large. He'll have to play well. Yeah. And I think he's capable of it. Certainly with how you're seeing on this team. I mean, you saw him last night. He affected the game greatly with just 9 shots by playing defense, by crashing the boards, by getting open and having Cade Cunningham find him. That's all he really needs to do. He doesn't need to be that second option. And I think that Tobias Harris is actually more set up for individual playoff success here than he has been in a couple of his previous stops.
Because it's not all on him, and this is one of the things I was trying to convince KG of was possible, what the idea was when they signed him, because I know that we were looking for, hey, can we get Cade Cunningham with some star power? And Malik Beasley has provided that from a scoring standpoint. And so you can afford to bring in a Tobias Harris at that point in time to be able to be, like we talked about before, can he get you 13, 15, 17 points a game? Can he get you decent shooting? Can he give you decent defense? Can he give you some facilitation? Can he give you a little bit of the ISO? And those are the things that we've seen him do now consistently for a few months. This is not something that's just popped up, but this is who Tobias has been now for maybe like last 3 months of the season. But you're right. To start the season, it wasn't anything to write home about. And I'm, you still stay bullish on these things because of the type of player he is, and you want to see the chemistry first take root with a brand new team. But the one thing I know about this Detroit Pistons squad since the beginning of the season and throughout is they have no problem with taking rightful criticism, and they've stepped to the podium themselves. A la maybe some of the more famous ones is like Jalen Duren stepping to the podium and saying, no, I was playing like some ish. Just straight up saying it. Like, I was on some soft-ish early in the season. We had to change that. I've heard these guys like Malik Beasley step to the podium and say, no, we got to be better. We F that up. And so that's the makeup of this team, and it does. When you're able to take some of that criticism, when you're able to be real with yourself, and when you got a coach that has no problem with displaying the standard because you know he's also reaching for that standard and he's out there fighting for you guys, he's out there willing to take fines for you all, then it puts you in a position, especially after the last 2 years, to say, you know what, let's just go get it. Because with the rest of these vets, for whatever reason, though they were instrumental and played some key roles in their previous teams and in those teams in the playoffs, for whatever reason, those teams didn't want them. And that was a lot of the identity of when you talk about the 04 teams. Those were a collection of players whose former teams were effectively like, you know what? Yeah, peace. Like, to be able to get Chauncey Billups in really the prime of his career. And so to be able to see these vets come together on the team and be able to have this type of mild success, which they know they're going to have to push this into the playoffs and not be afraid to say what they need to do to get better. That's what I do believe is also, there's a lot of different things, but what's contributing to this Pistons team improving all year long?
The veterans. And you mentioned a great point, which I don't even think that we talk about enough. These guys, I would say all of them to some extent, were cast-offs. Malik Beasley got a 1-year, $6 million contract
and
here.
And Cade was forgotten about.
Absolutely he was. And Malik Beasley, he's come in here and be probably the top 6-man of the year candidate, which is amazing. I mean, last night, even though he's not one of the first people you talk about when it comes to last night's game, he could be 5 of 10 from 3. That's 50% on 10 attempts. That's elite. That's elite of elite. And you look at Tim Hardaway Jr. Remember, as the playoffs progressed last year, he was getting phased out of the rotation for the Mavericks. He comes here and he's been a contributing starter. You look at Tobias Harris. Go to Philadelphia and ask fans about Tobias Harris. They will call him every name in the book. Some names that are way too unfair. And I'm not saying that Tobias Harris didn't deserve some criticism, but he wasn't. There were a lot of problems in Philly. Look at Joel Embiid's playoff splits and his playoffs games played. I'll just say that before I move on to someone else. And even Dennis Schroeder, I think a lot of people thought that he was done. He's a little bit long in the tooth. He's not the individual player he was, let's just say, with the Atlanta Hawks. But these are... Sometimes you got to turn these pseudo cast-offs into contributing players, and every single one of them, including a guy like Tim Hardaway Jr., including a guy like Dennis Schroeder, who maybe hasn't shot the ball as well as we would expect, but you see him constantly get like 5 assists, 7 assists, 6 assists off the bench, and that's all we ever really wanted. Cast-offs turning into valuable members for this team. That's some Moneyball shit. 1 year, $6 million for Malik Beasley is Moneyball shit.
I was just about to ask you, how different would the standings look right now if the Bucks simply signed Beasley to like 2 years, $10 million, 2 years, $12 million, $15 million, $20 million?
I think the Pistons would be fighting for a play-in spot,
and the Bucks would be not at all. I think that the Bucks would be in a position of better challenge with the Knicks for that 3rd seed right now if they had Beasley on their team.
Beasley was good for them last year.
Yeah,
he was.
You know what, man? Oh, goodness gracious.
Yeah.
Yeah, we just talked Pistons through everything.
Hey, you know what? And I even got this in my hand right now. I can't tell you what it is because they no longer sponsor us, but I think you can read between the lines. Hey, I did it after the 20-point win over Boston and also Cade Cunningham's. I think it's his first buzzer beater, even if it's technically not a buzzer beater. But, hey, I heard a lot of really, really incendiary things and false things about Cade Cunningham earlier this year. What I have to ask a lot of you guys is, will you repent? I will allow you back on if you repent. All you got to do is repent.
And usually I wear the victory shades, and I was playing the highlights back in the car when he hit that shot again. I had it in my hand getting ready. And I was like, yeah, and they broke in my excitement.
Well,
so
that's understandable.
I am planning, and I see you guys in the chats. I am planning to get frames. People. So we will definitely have the buff style victory shades in the future, man.
Okay.
Let me pick out for you.
Definitely.
Let me pick out for you.
Absolutely. Hey, but we got to hear from one of our sponsors here, Buddy's Pizza. They've been serving the original Detroit-style pizza since 1946. 79 years later, they have 22 locations in the state of Michigan, and fans can still visit where it all began on the corner of 6 Mile and Conant. Sign up for Buddy's rewards to earn points on every purchase and receive exclusive promotions. Download the Buddy's Pizza mobile app and start earning today. Add some Detroit style to your next meal. Save 10% off your entire order using promo code 10MEAL. That's the number 10MEAL. Buddy'sPizza.com.
Walk into any Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men today. Open 7 days a week. Sit back, relax, and enjoy a precision haircut, scalp massage, hot leather neck shave, and hot towel treatment from one of our talented stylists. Step up your game this season and take advantage of our $20 haircut special. Scan the QR code and get your coupon today. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men, the ultimate haircut experience. Open 7 days a week. Walk-ins always welcome. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men. It's wicked awesome.
Woodward Sports is at it again, giving away more cash and prizes than anyone in Detroit. Get into our March Bracket Challenge, powered by Jug and Nathan Neurosurgery. If you have the biggest basketball brain and get first place, you win $1,000 cold hard cash. But it doesn't stop there. Second place gets a weekend at Grand Traverse Resort in Traverse City, including brunch at Erie and golf. Third place, 2 club seats to see the Pistons versus Bucks with food and drinks courtesy of RHB Laboratories in Troy. You can pre-register now at WoodwardSportsBracket.com. That's WoodwardSportsBracket.com. Then, after Selection Sunday, fill out your bracket for your chance at $1,000 in cash, money, and more. Pick by mascot, choose by team colors, have your dog pick. No matter how you do it, go to WoodwardSportsBracket.com right now and register. All powered by the best in the game, Chug and Nathan Neurosurgery and Woodward Sports.
Feldman Chevrolet, Michigan's #1 Chevy dealer, is kicking off the game with the best prices on all cars, trucks, and SUVs, like this 2024 Silverado for just $296 a month, or this 2025 Equinox for as low as $371 a month. Our locations in Novi, Highland, New Hudson, Livonia, and Lansing means we have the perfect Chevy right in your backyard. Get the home team advantage every day at Feldman Chevrolet, Michigan's #1 Chevy dealer.
Game is won in the trenches, and our big fellas don't mess around. The Woodward Heavyweights on Woodward Sports.
Hey, it's Planet Fitness, fitness that fits your budget. No matter where you are, there's a Planet Fitness close by. There are more than 50 in Metro Detroit and thousands more throughout the world. At Planet Fitness, you experience a squeaky clean gym that has tons of equipment, friendly, knowledgeable staff, and a totally judgment-free atmosphere. Did you know that all Planet Fitness memberships include fitness training for no extra cost? Want all the perks? Upgrade to the PF Black Card and enjoy use of amenities such as unlimited use of the Black Card Spa featuring hydro massage, massage chairs, and total body enhancement, and more, along with access to over 2,500 locations worldwide and unlimited guest privileges. For more information, order join today. Visit your local Planet Fitness or planetfitness.com.
And you can sweat it out in some Woodward Sports merch as well too, where you're at the gym at Planet Fitness. All you got to do is head over to WoodwardSports.com, click on that shop tab. New designs for you every single week. You know we got the LFG Red Wings t-shirts and hoodies, and you can't forget about those Woodward Tigers either, because you know what? Opening day is right around the corner, and you need to be decked out in some Woodward Tigers gear while you're at the gym, or hell, when you're down at Comerica Park as well too. So head over to WoodwardSports.com. All you got to do is click on that shop tab.
What up, though, people? Welcome back. It is Wake Up Woodward. Once again, shout out to those victory Pistons, man. And just going on the road against a team that also had a first-time All-Star and showing these two things are not the same. Cade Cunningham is just on a completely different level, and those stats continue to be only compared to the greats like Luka, Jokic, and LeBron James. So shout out to the Pistons again for a big win. And it's time to sort of kind of TLB. Mel Kiper. Mel Kiper, he mocked former Tennessee edge rusher James Pearce Jr. to the Detroit Lions at pick number 28. And we're going to make sure that we go through and profile him. And I'm excited to do this because this is a name that every time it's come up, you all have been this has been, 5 picks on each of you all's pick meter. And I know both of you, I know KG has continued to put the caveat, if he falls to the Lions.
Oh, if he falls. To me, it's a no-brainer. But we will do, I think, a try to convince those who are non-believers, which I don't think there are many, in this segment, that James Pearce, if he is available at 28, that is an advantageous pick for the Lions. And before I give my thoughts, I just want to read the mock-up that Mel Kiper Jr. wrote about James Pearce Jr. Pearce could be the answer opposite Aiden Hutchinson, which is, of course, what we all want. Besides figuring out how to stay healthy, the second edge rush spot was the Lions' biggest question last season. They traded for Zadarius Smith at midseason, and he ended up contributing with 4 sacks over 8 games. And as we all know, Zadarius Smith was released. Whether he re-signs on a more team-friendly contract, that is to be seen. But to get past their playoff slump, having a steadier presence rushing the passer on the other side of Hutchinson is key. Pearce had just 7.5 sacks in 2024, but his 19% pressure rate was second in the FBS. He keeps offensive tackles guessing with his burst and strength. And before I pass it over to KG, and before we later look at some highlights of James Pearce Jr., I've always said when it comes to prospects, especially ones that are high up, like a James Pearce Jr. who has a ton of upside, I want the production, I want the PFF metrics, and it also helps to show out in the combine. And of course, as we're going to talk about later, I want to see what you have in terms of what you've shown on tape. The production has been all there, and James Pearce Jr. has been a beast for 2 seasons. Over the last 2 seasons, 17.5 sacks, 28 tackles for loss, and 107 pressures. In terms of PFF grade, had a pass rush grade of 89, a run defense grade of 84, an overall grade of 87, this is in 2024, and an absurd pass rush win rate of 23%. And I think that correlates very nicely with his 19% pressure rate. Those definitely are correlation, that is for sure. And he actually, according to PFF and according to Sacks, had a better season the previous year in 2023, even though his 2024 season was great. And at the Combine, absolutely showed out. Ran the fastest edge rusher time of any edge rusher, 4.47 in the 40-yard dash. Was the fastest in the 10-yard split. His 40 time is faster than Christian McCaffrey's and Amon-Ra St. Brown, and he was top 10 in the broad jump as well. When it comes to production, when it comes to metrics, when it comes to just what you've seen athletically at the Combine, he checks all of the boxes. But more on that from Mr. KG. What do you got to say about James Pearce Jr.?
Yeah, thank you, Samuel. I appreciate your breakdown there. And I know a lot of people are mocking him at 28, but I think that, if he's on the board in that maybe 10 to 15 range, I'm asking Brad Holmes to please move up and get this guy. Don't even leave it to chance, because I guarantee you he's a first-round talent. I don't care about the attitude issues. We'll go more into that a little bit later, but I think it's something that's being a little bit overblown. And when you just look at the kind of talent that this guy possesses, I really can't see teams passing up on him, especially getting into the second round. But that's just me, though. Quick write-up that I did on James Pearce. Of course, he stands at 6'5", 245 pounds. That's a pretty good size for an edge rusher, but he needs to put on a little bit more muscle, and that may be something that at the next level they try and work on. But the way his frame is set up, I think you can put on muscle without really slowing him down, because we all know that the speed is the most important part of his game and something that I'm necessarily fond of. But paired with his speed, that makes him a very elite prospect in this draft. You can argue that he's up there with Abdul Carter. Some may even say he's better in terms of pass rush than Abdul Carter, but Abdul Carter, he's a little more complete just all around. But you can make an argument for James Pearce. He had to earn his playing time as a true freshman in 2022. I believe that was. He got 2 sacks in his first season, but in 2023 is where he really exploded, where he had 28 total tackles, 10 sacks, 15 TFLs, a forced fumble, and an interception. Yes, I said an INT. And I believe that came as a pick 6 in the Citrus Bowl. It was a big play. It shifted momentum for Tennessee. In 2024, though, 38 total tackles, 7.5 sacks, 13 TFLs, a pass defended, and a forced fumble. And I know some of his numbers were a little bit more down, but we have to consider in 2024 he was getting a lot of attention from opposing offensive line. So as the main focal point for him to go out there and put up these numbers, I think that's pretty impressive. And just want to go into my pros and cons real quick. Definitely more pros than cons. After starting off as a raw talent, he quickly showed his range, being able to play in multiple techniques, and by that I mean just hand in the dirt on 2- and 3-point stances, is, and he has really great potential to maybe play in a 9 technique standing up. I would love to see, whatever team he goes to, utilize him in that way. He has the most explosive first step in this class, hands down, period. There's no argument there. He's capable of making tackles abandon their first move just in order to catch up with his speed, because he can just get around the edge so fast. And that's another thing I had wrote down here. Elite bend. Like, we thought James Houston had really good bend. It ain't nothing on James Pearce, bro. Like, he has an exceptional bend. He's capable of breaking contain at any time, and once he gets home, he knows how to finish, and that's something that you love to see.
Even at 6'5", 245, because James Houston was more 6'1". You're saying that this guy still has that type of ability with a much bigger, more physical frame.
Yeah, he's an athletic freak. And I think you got it. Once you see the tape, and we will play some highlights, you'll kind of see that on display. But one thing I really like about this guy is that he kind of plays off instinct. And you can kind of see that when you're watching the film. He's not really thinking too much when he's out there, but it's not clunky. It's very fluid. It's almost seamless in the way that he's able to like change direction, the way he can adjust on screen plays, or maybe even cutting off a running lane. You want to see him get a little more polished in the run game, and more on that in a little bit. But he doesn't make too many mistakes in pass rush situations, so you love to see that out of a young player. Like I said, not completely polished in the run game, but he's capable of cutting off rushing lanes. He's good at diagnosing screens as well, has pretty solid lateral movement. My cons against him, of course, the biggest question is his strength. At the next level, against longer, maybe even stronger tackles, he could get hung up there. That could present a problem because he's somebody that, tends to rely on his speed a little bit too much, and we all know he's an athletic freak. He can use that speed, but at the next level, you have to get a little more craftier. But I think that's something that these NFL defenses will work with him on. He struggles with zone running schemes and pulling guards, and that's another thing he's going to have to clean up very, very quickly at the next level, because if that's your weakness and you're out there on early downs, teams will just run at you. They'll just run the ball straight at you, and he needs to have answers for that. But I would like to see him develop in that area, and also just developing secondary moves. His hand moves are already kind of underrated, for him being at this level. But if he can develop a secondary or maybe even a third counter move for when his initial move gets stalled at the next level, I think that'll go a long way. And he needs to work on his over pursuits, and that's something that I was very critical of Aiden early in his career on, because a lot of times he would get in the backfield, he would get home, but the over pursuit would allow, any type of quarterback, especially a mobile quarterback, to kind of get out the pocket and make plays off schedule. So that's something that you want to see him clean up. But overall, just for the talent that you're getting, I would love to see the Lions move up and get this guy. I don't think he falls to 28. This is a pick situation for me. You already know that. But we got the highlights, and we will run the tape, and I'll let y'all decide for yourselves.
Hey, but first, I want to hear from Justin, because I know you're a junkie when it comes to college football, the draft, college basketball, more on that later. So do you have any words on James Pearce Jr.?
Yeah, I personally love James Pearce Jr. I agree with both of you that this is a run-up to the board and pick him immediately type of situation. And I agree with everything KG just said. The 2023 tape really jumps out.
Yes.
He is an absolute difference maker there. He's always in the backfield. But he still had games like that in the 2024 season. In particular, there was the Alabama game where he put Jalen Milroe into a tizzy, the way that he was uncomfortable back there, constantly in the backfield making plays. And the one thing that he improved on in the 2024 season that really impressed me was his run defense. Mm-hmm. I know he has struggled in the zone schemes, but he has improved in his ability to play the run. And with him being an athletic freak, with him being able to rush the passer, and with him improving on his defense, he seems like a complete Brad Holmes guy that with the athletic build, I would really love this pick. And I feel like this is an exact pair that you could put with Hutch, where they're similar, but the speed that James Pearce Jr. has will give you that variation on both sides of the edge, which I think is very important.
I think James Pearce Jr. is going to step into the NFL no matter who picks him. Hopefully it's the Lions, and be able to win one-on-ones against NFL tackles just based off of his speed and his burst. Yeah. It's absolutely elite. And I have some highlights on James Pearce Jr. that we should all take a gander at. And make some comments on.
Cut the
So
tape.
JB, this is the first one. Wins a rep to the inside, just buries the quarterback and just just
so
at the speed
fast.
of light. Look at
Soft
this.
speed and
My
Look at how
goodness.
his closing
Absolutely
speed is
beautiful. And
crazy.
this one, club swims to the middle, gets the quarterback in just a nanosecond, it appears. This one, bull rush. When we talk about strength, bull rushes the tackle into a sack. Right here, chases this one right here.
Oh.
He stunts to the inside, buries
Jesus.
the running back
able to
for
diagnose and
look at this.
attack.
Running start, no chance. To the inside, buries the quarterback. Beautiful. Chases the running back from the backside after winning his rep. Right here, he's going to line up more on the inside, stunts to the middle, buries the running back for no gain. Right here, it looks like he's used more as a blitzer, finishes the sack, cleans it up, and on this last one, he pressures
Jesus.
and the quarterback is forced to get rid of the ball before he wants to. You cannot cut that right now, JB. It started over. But James Pearce Jr., his speed, his ability to just get to the quarterback. You even saw some pass rushing moves, which is something that is perceived as a weakness. I saw a pretty nice swim move. I saw him
It's underrated.
I saw him win some reps against tackles by going to the inside and across their face, which is the quickest way to the quarterback. And to me, I know that a lot of people have been upset with me because I have had more questions about the offseason than some. There are some moves that I don't agree with. There were some lack of moves that I wanted the Lions to make. Like, I wish they wouldn't have released Zadarius Smith, and I wish they would have, and I'm not saying for sure that they didn't. When the Eagles got Azeez at 1 for 4, I was like, damn, I probably would have given him 1 at 7. But if somehow, some way, Brad Holmes is able to make James Pearce Jr. a Lion, especially if it's at 20-8,
Yeah.
I will shut the fuck up. I will shut the fuck up. I will be like, yes, Master Holmes. Because I think that James Pearce Jr. has the second highest upside in terms of pass rushers in this draft next to Abdul Carter. I think in the situation, if you put James Pearce Jr. opposite Aiden Hutchinson, I think there's a chance that he starts and gets significant snaps right away. And I think that he is a viable defensive rookie of the year candidate if you put him in Detroit where he can just feast off of one-on-ones. Bring James Pearce Jr. home.
Yeah, Hutch has never played with an athlete the level of a James Pearce Jr. And you saw the success that James Houston was able to have playing next to Hutch. Just imagine this guy. Like, he is James Houston times 3, if you ask me. And one thing that is going to be a question at the next level is, can he play on early downs? Because, like we said, the run game isn't completely polished. He does do some good things there. He does have potential to stun as well, which is good. But you want to see him just be a little more polished in the run game. And his pro comparison was Brian Burns, and I think that's a real good comparison because you can use him in pass rush situations to start and then just work on his ability in the run game and bring him along slowly. But his potential as a pass rusher is undeniable.
Yeah, 43 QB hurries last year. Even
Undeniable.
though his sack numbers were down, getting more attention like that, I think that really shows the quality of a player that he is. And just the athletic upside is exactly what Brad Holmes seems to like to draft. So I completely agree with KG.
Yeah, because
Go ahead.
Well, no, I was just gonna, go ahead.
I was just going to say that the only reason that somebody like that would ever fall to 28 is he has some perceived character flaws that allegedly reared their ugly head at times at Tennessee. And in my personal opinion, I think that if he were to fall to 28, and I've alluded to this before with, I think, him being a potential defensive rookie of the year candidate, if James Pearce falls to 28, you could argue that he's a top 10 talent going at the latter end of the first round of the draft. Because I don't know if you guys remember, I'm a sicko, so I do. At the beginning of the season, before any games had been played, when you looked at the PFF big board, you would see a big fat James Pearce Jr., not his stature in terms of his name, right up there at like 1 or 2. This guy is elite. And I know that his counting stats and even his metrics to some degree went down a little bit this year, but James Pearce Jr. has produced both of the years that he has played. And to Justin's point, he did improve his run defense. You saw some run defense on those highlights.
Yeah, you did.
Saw him stunt to the middle and just bury running backs. You've seen it. You saw him chase down a running back really from the backside and prevent any sort of reverse field. So
Yeah.
James Pearce Jr., the man can play. I want him in the Honolulu Blue.
Personally, I don't want to hear about attitude problems. Abdul Carter had a whole fucking assault charge, and he's probably going number one. Or he definitely will be
As he
top
should.
3. So I'm just saying, like, come
They
on
pick
now.
and choose their spots. When it
Yeah,
matters.
like, come on.
And for me, it's like, if it's just a notion of young players needing to mature through mistakes, that's something that the Detroit Lions have already shown that their organization is capable to do. Obviously, there's a certain class of player or an individual that they want within their organization. And I guess to this point, for all intents and purposes, James Pearce Jr. isn't somebody that I would believe is off of their radar. And what just jumps off the screen to me, looking at the tape, hearing what you guys are saying, is really the speed in which he's able to diagnose and get home as well. The ability to stop the run from the outside, but like you said, get over into the middle. And that, to me, is where I know that a lot of attention is going to be placed on his ability to be a really good athletic freak of a bookend with Hutch. But that's why I'm glad that they do have kind of the veteran presence they do along their defensive line in the interior and everything behind them. Generally, we talk about how the secondary is helped by the defensive line, but when you're talking about a player that you're looking to make some improvements and some adjustments and some growth and to improve on their technique, some of the things that KG pointed out in the weaknesses, that's where I do believe having the linebacker core and the leaders that you do behind you, like Alex Anzalone and Jack Campbell, having Kirby Joseph and Brian Branch back there in the secondary, and giving the quarterback something else to think about, and knowing that you have that much more help behind you, that to me is where a player like a James Pearce is able to effectively hit the ground running a lot better than they would if you went to maybe another organization.
Well,
that
and
was
you
less stopped.
you can look at the perceived character issues in a couple of different ways. You can look at it as, oh, you don't want him to pollute the locker room. I will say pollute the locker room in quotes. Or you could look at it as, if you trust the Lions culture, if you believe in what they've built, if you blow your wad over Pat O'Connor signings because he's a culture guy, then hey, he should be able, the Lions culture should be able to handle a James Pearce Jr. and mold him and make him an effective player. And that leads to this point, and I want to ask KG and Justin, if James Pearce Jr. falls to 28, and the only reason I'm asking this is because Mel Kiper Jr. mocked it, and say what you want about him, he kind of invented this as a business, or started it as a business in terms of draft coverage. If he falls to 28, is this a move that you think Brad Holmes would do in terms of drafting James Pearce Jr.?
Yeah, because if one player can pollute your locker room, do you really have a strong locker room? Like, the Lions have worked hard to build this culture over this last 4 years to the point where they're very selective in who the hell comes in this building. Dave said it. Not everybody can play for the Lions. Not everybody can be in Allen Park. And I do respect that part about this franchise. But at some point, you have to test how good your culture is. And if you can bring a guy like this in who has perceived attitude problems, which you can easily point to, okay, maybe he just wasn't getting along with coaches at Tennessee, or maybe, he had some ideas of how he could be utilized and he was being mismanaged a little bit. There's a lot of reasons that you can point to as to why the attitude problems may have come up, but I don't think that's a big issue. The talent outweighs all of this, and you bring a young guy in with the veterans that you have in this locker room, with the kind of coaches that you have in this locker room. I don't think it's a problem at all, and I don't think that would deter Brad from picking him at 28 or maybe even possibly moving up for him.
Justin?
Yeah, I completely agree. I think that he just pops off the tape in a way athletically that it seems like one of those Brian Branch moves. He falls way too far in the draft, falls all the way down to 28, and Brad Holmes is just sitting there licking his chops over the fact that he fell that far, and it's a perfect ad, in my opinion, to pair with that Aiden Hutchinson.
Hey, and when I heard, and I think it was from you, KG, that people are saying that James Pearce Jr.'s pro comp is Brian Burns, I can understand why some are asleep on Brian Burns, because he's played his entire career with Carolina and then last year with the Giants. Mm-hmm. Not a lot of winning was going on, but Brian Burns has been arguably a top 10 to 15 edge rusher in the NFL for the last couple of years, and he was good last year. Remember, the Giants didn't lose because of their D-line. Their D-line was the only thing on that team that they really had. They lost because they focused so much on their D-line that the whole rest of their team was ass. So if you're telling me that at pick 28 you get a Brian Burns type player, whether I agree or disagree, that's his perfect comp, that's a win. That's having somebody with that type of talent, somebody with a James Pearce type of talent on a rookie contract with the potential for a fifth-year option. Like I said, if Brad Holmes is able to get this done, I will take back every perceived negative thing that I've said about this offseason. Like I said, I will bow at his feet because James Pearce Jr. is an elite talent, and he will benefit heavily from having Aiden Hutchinson on the other side, heavily, as anybody would. But James Pearce Jr. facing one-on-ones with that kind of speed, sometimes against mid-tackles, are you kidding me? It's over.
I'm looking forward to it, man. This draft, this is one of the things that, as the offseason continued to progress, it continued to ring as it should always. Trust in Brad, because whether it is James Pearce Jr. or not, I know that this is a draft that presents an opportunity for him to cook up and to be able to, at the very least, make sure that rotation, that depth is in place while you're waiting for guys like Aleem to get healthy and back into the natural swing of things. But I'm pumped up for what this Alliance team can do here because of the fact that it's still a 15-2 team. It's still a team with high expectations, and none of that has gone away. Sometimes I feel like we or some of the fans out there have put them in a vacuum, when in reality they should be assessed as it relates to who they actually are. And that's one of the top teams in the NFC. You get a chance to add a talent like this to it. You guys have covered it very, very well. You get an opportunity to have somebody to go back there and make some noise. The pressures in college that Justin brought up versus what he's able to do along this defensive line, and where opposing offenses are going to have to scheme for pressures from different, maybe different levels of the defense sometimes. That's where a guy like a James Pearce Jr. could probably see the sacks in terms of his pressure start to rise as well. So looking forward to it, man.
Looking forward to it. Hopefully it happens. There's other good options as well, but in terms of upside, I don't think there's anybody in the entire draft that you could get at 28 better than James Pearce Jr., but we shall see. There's certainly a good chance that other teams will realize that are picking ahead of the Lions, and maybe the Lions have to trade up. I will say this, though. If the Lions pass on him and the Eagles get a hold of James
Come on,
Jr.,
dog.
I think I'll cry on draft.
Why you got to bring that up?
Like,
I
come
shouldn't
on,
have.
dog.
I know, but we all know that it's possible.
What if you're talking trade? Because I know KG mentioned it earlier. If he's sitting there at 15th, even he would see about trading up.
Yes, bro.
What about you, Flannel Sam?
Yes, I would definitely consider it. In terms of edge rushers, the three that I would trade up for, and I'm not saying this is necessarily realistic. I would trade up for Abdul Carter, although Abdul Carter might go top 1, at worst probably top 5. I would trade up for James Pearce Jr., and I would probably consider trading up for Mike Green as well. But we shall see. Mel Kiper is saying that James Pearce Jr. might fall.
I'm not buying it.
and KG, you have every right to believe that, or at least say, or at least kind of put out in the atmosphere to the Lions that if you really want James Pearce, it would behoove them to trade up.
Yeah.
Kind of like they did for a Terrion Arnold. Terrion Arnold may have fell to the Lions where they were originally drafting at, but they recognized their guy, and they went out and got him. So if James Pearce Jr. is the Lions guy, maybe they will. Maybe even if James Pearce Jr. falls more than you think, maybe you just trade up to 20.
Yeah, you may not have to move up a lot of spots for him, and I'm glad you brought up the Brian Branch example because it can be that type of fall, but I just really can't see it going past the first round because Brian Branch was a safety. We're talking about an edge rusher here. This is a premier position in the NFL now. We all know that you need a pass rush in order to win the big one, so I really can't see this guy making it out the first round just based off the type of talent that he possesses. I mean, arguably he's the one or two best edge in this class, period.
Yeah. And speaking of college, we got to talk a little Michigan. I got my amazing blue flannel. I know Justin is all decked out in his Michigan gear as well. KG and Kool-Aid are very excited about Michigan being
I got
back
people in AA.
Blue.
Shout out AA, man. I got people down there.
All my kids is born there. I was born there. My family is born there.
Beautiful.
That's right.
That is just... They were set up for success right away. But
one more shout out here. Ashton the trainer is in the chat, and he put in all caps. Let's go, Detroit basketball, man. Hey, shout out to you for supporting, man.
Absolutely.
Shout out to Cade and the fam and all you guys. Blessings, Ashton, man, and thank you for the support, brother. Thank you.
And Ashton the trainer, if you want some Pistons coverage, watch the first 30 minutes of this show if you haven't already, because I think that, and this isn't because of me, of course, it's because of all of us as a collective, especially Kool-Aid, who's in the room. I think that we gave the Pistons and continue to give the Pistons their proper amount of attention, especially when they win big games like last night. So I will take our Pistons coverage up against anybody in the entire content space.
That's a fact.
Hey,
absolutely. Thank you,
Factual.
KG, for confirming that, JB, as well. But we got to talk a little Michigan in the tournament because they've got a big game tonight at 10 o'clock at night. So I'm going to have to get the caffeine going. And they're playing a 12 seed, which many perceive as the best 12 seed and could be a potential problem for Michigan. But also, now that we got Justin here, the college basketball junkie, he's got some other matchups that you could look at today as potential really good ones. We got some really good teams playing as well. So we're going to talk TCBB. Talk college basketball, bitch. But first, tell us about Lady James.
At Lady James, we take the chore out of getting a haircut. Our talented stylists will deliver an industry-leading haircut. A relaxing scalp massage, my favorite. Maybe I need to get a victory
Bet it
highlight
is your
on that
favorite.
shave.
Thick and wet, huh?
And oily.
Look how smooth that neck is.
And oily.
Hot towel treatment. Open 7 days a week. Walk in anytime. Lady James Haircuts for Men. It's wicked awesome.
Stop searching for a vehicle and start finding one. Les Stanford Chevrolet Cadillac makes it easy. We harness the power of multiple dealerships and own the biggest selection of GM brands in the area to get you the car you need. With the Les Stanford Group, you'll have access to 4 different dealerships, providing you with more makes, more models, and more choices. We're connected to more than 1,000 vehicles, and with so many high-quality CPO vehicles available, you'll find new car quality at pre-owned prices. You can start and end your search at lesstanford.com today.
Big injuries, big news. Twice a week, Dr. Jeff Pearce from Michigan Sports and Spine joins Woodward Sports Network for the Injury Insider Report. Big D Energy Tuesdays at noon, and Ermanni and Edwards with Maz Thursdays at 3:30. Get expert analysis and in-depth breakdowns on the latest sports injuries from the man trusted by top athletes in the community, like D-Mac. Whether it's the Lions, Pistons, Tigers, or Red Wings, Dr. Pearce talks us through it all. Don't miss the Injury Insider Report with Dr. Jeff Pearce, your go-to source for understanding the impact of injuries on the games and players we love. Only on Woodward Sports Network. Scan the QR code on the screen or go to MichiganSportsandSpine.com to see if Dr. Jeff Pearce can help you.
Walk into any Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men today. Open 7 days a week. Sit back, relax, and enjoy precision haircut, scalp massage, hot leather neck shave, and hot towel treatment from one of our talented stylists. Step up your game this season and take advantage of our $20 haircut special. Scan the QR code and get your coupon today. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men, the ultimate haircut experience. Open 7 days a week. Walk-ins always welcome. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men, it's wicked awesome.
Woodward Sports is at it again, giving away more cash and prizes than anyone in Detroit. Get into our March Bracket Challenge, powered by Jug and Nathan Neurosurgery. If you have the biggest basketball brain and get first place, you win $1,000 cold hard cash. But it doesn't stop there. Second place gets a weekend at Grand Traverse Resort in Traverse City, including brunch at Erie and golf. Third place, 2 club seats to see the Pistons versus Bucks with food and drinks courtesy of RHB Laboratories in Troy. You can pre-register now at WoodwardSportsBracket.com. That's WoodwardSportsBracket.com. Then, after Selection Sunday, fill out your bracket for your chance at $1,000 in cash money and more. Pick by mascot, choose by team colors, have your dog pick. No matter how you do it, go to WoodwardSportsBracket.com right now and register. All powered by the best in the game, Chug and Nathan Neurosurgery and Woodward Sports.
Attention sports fans, don't miss out on expert sports injury insights with Dr. Jeff Pearce of Michigan Sports and Spine. Join Dr. Pearce every Tuesday on Big D Energy, every Thursday on Ermanni and Edwards, where he's offering you top-notch injury advice. Y'all gotta trust, you gotta D-Mac trust, because Dr. Jeff Pearce is here to keep you in the game and performing at your best. For more information, visit MichiganSportsandSpine.com or call 248-426-9944. And what up, though, people? Welcome back to Wake Up Woodward. If you missed it, we definitely opened up with a lot of Detroit Pistons and the big victory they had. And just this past segment, the fellas, the ball knowers, KG, Flannel Sam, that dude Justin, gave a very thorough breakdown of one James Pearce Jr. Because Mel Kiper believes that he could fall to the Detroit Lions at pick 28, but the crew still believes if he's available even at 15th or 20th, you trade up to get him. Right now, about to break down, though, March Madness, and it is beginning. And that dude, Justin, he was like, yo, Kool-Aid, I want to be in to break that down. Of course, man, he's going to be taking a bigger role within college sports and how it's covered here. Because I would say, for lack of a better word, bro, you are literally, as he put it, you're a junkie for college sports, bro.
I don't know what it is. I think it's about just the camaraderie, the level of passion that comes with college sports. I don't know what it is, but I've always felt more drawn to college sports, specifically college basketball and college football. So I'm just so lucky to be in a role where I can express my knowledge and my love for the games.
And for the gold blue of it all, obviously, we're breaking down their first round matchup against UC San Diego. And there's some people who believe that this is a little bit a tougher matchup than the seeding would naturally suggest for those Wolverines. But I do believe if the Dusty May of it all, the motivation that he's been able to at least light underneath this team during the Big Ten tournament shows up, I don't think that we're going to have too much trouble.
Well, and before I pass it over to Justin and KG, because I know that they have some keys as well. Yeah, Michigan, UC San Diego. UC San Diego certainly could potentially present some problems for Michigan, but I've got a couple of tidbits about today's matchup that I actually think favors Michigan. Number one, UC San Diego has had a fantastic season, but they haven't really played anybody. UC San Diego only has 2 quad 1 wins, where Michigan has 12. Michigan will be the toughest matchup UC San Diego has played all season long, whereas Michigan, in this past Big Ten tournament, knocked off a 3 seed and 2 4 seeds on the way to what they get as their 5 seed. So they've faced quality teams, and they've beaten quality teams recently. Number 2, UC San Diego, in terms of high end, in terms of forwards and centers, do not have that much size. Their tallest regular contributor is 6'8". So in this game, I need Vlad Golden and Danny Wolf to combine for at least 40 and 20 on 60% shooting. Vlad Golden, who does a lot of his work in the post, he needs to see the mouse in the house, or the continuing mouses in the house, and just go off. Danny Wolf is going to need to get to the basket, whether it's off the dribble, whether it's putbacks, whether it's being fed. I need Area 51 to absolutely lunch in this game, because if they don't, I think that UC San Diego has other advantages that they could potentially exploit. But Michigan, they're the toughest team UC San Diego has faced all year, and UC San Diego does not have the size to contend with Vlad Golden and Danny Wolf when Vlad Golden and Danny Wolf are on. What do you fellas have as keys, or what do you think of what I just had to say?
I'll go first just real quick, because I know Justin got the longer one. But mainly for me, you have to be good on the perimeter in this game, because UC San Diego is a very, very good three-point shooting team. And we all know how Michigan at times can struggle defending the perimeter. If I'm Dusty May, I'm sticking to primarily man-to-man defense. I know he likes to utilize that 2-3 zone, and it needs to be situational in this game. But overall, I would just stick to man and just hope that you can get the level of performance, like you said, use that length, use that size that they're not used to seeing in order to get an advantage. And don't turn the ball over. I mean, we all know they're going to turn the ball over, but you have to limit that, because UC San Diego is also very good at forcing turnovers. And we all know that's the Achilles heel of this Michigan team, man. So if you can limit those turnovers and play good defensive perimeter basketball, then they should win this game.
Yeah, and KG, you said something that kind of piggybacks on what Flannel's been saying for a while as it relates to the rebounding. When you play that zone defense, it puts you in a worse advantage at being able to box out and get the rebound, because you're not scrambling to identify, well, where's the player at? And if you're playing a team with some marginal type of speed or athleticism, like the Michigan State Spartans, then those teams are able to hit those seams for the putback rebounds and dunks and things of that nature, second chance points. If you are playing that man-to-man, I just believe mentally it keeps your team engaged, and you're in tournament time. So not just from that standpoint, but also the standpoint of having a better opportunity to rebound, so that your 7-footers aren't having to contend with the guards or athletic wings that are crashed down from the outside. from the perimeter. So I wanted to be able to call it out because I think that is one of the more kind of astute points about Michigan heading into this matchup.
I mean, they've had some games, like especially against Michigan State, where they have been, quite frankly, embarrassed on the boards, and even against Illinois as well. But Justin, what are some of your keys to a Michigan victory?
I really think that because it's been such a popular pick to go with UC San Diego on all platforms, no matter the level of journalism that you're in, but I personally see it as fool's gold. I love this matchup for Michigan. The fact that Dusty May is already an elite tournament coach, he is 4-2 in his career in the NCAA tournament, taking FAU to the Final Four. And then last year, in my opinion, he was already checked out. He already knew he was going to Michigan. So did Vlad, and John L. knew he was leaving as well. So that team didn't have the camaraderie that this team has. And then on top of this, he just won the Big Ten tournament. He won the American tournament multiple years in a row. This is a great tournament coach. I think Dusty May is going to have them in a place mentally where they are ready to rebound and play physical. That was the key through the Big Ten tournament, was their ability to get boards and to out rebound. And even when they had that high turnover game against Maryland, when they had 15 plus turnovers, they still were able to overcome that because of how dominant they were on the glass. And that's exactly what they need to do. I also think UC San Diego doesn't have the defensive capabilities to guard what Michigan's going to bring them. They have, like Flannel said, 6'8's their tallest contributor. Their best defensive player is 6'4". Okay, who's he going to be guarding? Burnett or Gale? No one who is even remotely a threat to them. It's going to take him completely out of the game. You're going to have Michigan runs a lot of pick and roll offense. Whether it's action between Vlad Golden or Danny Wolf or Trey Donaldson and Danny Wolf, it doesn't matter. The UC San Diego runs drop coverage and double off the backside. When you have someone who's a good enough passer like Danny Wolf, when he's coming down the lane, he's going to be able to identify that. And because they're not big enough to bring that height advantage that Danny Wolf has, he's going to be able to swing the ball across the floor to Burnett in the corner for open threes. I don't think UC San Diego has any of the defensive capabilities that teams they're given. I watched like an hour and a half of their games last night, and all I saw was them shot-chucking threes from behind the arc and then being absolutely exposed by teams that make good passes from their big man to big man and from their big man to the outside, which is something that Michigan has done very well, especially in the Big Ten tournament.
That's interesting, and that adds some potential context, because for the record, I think Michigan wins this game as well, not just because I'm a fan, but because as a college basketball person, I see them winning. When it comes to their defense, and we can all agree that they haven't played a team like Michigan, and they certainly haven't played a couple of big men like Danny Wolf and Vlad Golden. However, the number one, I think, talking point, and it's not a talking point, UC San Diego did it, credit to them. They do lead the entire bleeping nation in turnover differential, and one of their guards, Hayden Gray, leads the entire bleeping nation in steals. From their perspective, whether it's fool's gold or not, they're probably licking their chops. But Justin, you seem to think that Michigan won't have a problem with that. And even if they do, they'll overcome it, because Michigan has won a lot of games this year where they've lost the turnover battle. A lot.
A lot of their big games especially. And the thing is, this team is battle-tested. They have been in so many tight games, tournament-style games, where you really have to get down and get dirty. And especially in the Big Ten tournament, you saw the way that the defense was able to elevate. The way that Danny Wolf and Vlad Golden were able to get vertical and not jump and make the guards on Wisconsin take these tough shots, which caused their undoing. I just think that the defense is up to par. The UC San Diego is going to have trouble finishing in the paint. They're going to become three-point reliant, and it's going to become shot chucking. If you can force them to make their offense rely on threes, I think you put yourself in a very good spot where you're going to be more efficient, even if you lose the turnover battle.
Yeah, and Justin, real quick, because we was talking about this during the break, who would you say is the X factor for Michigan in this game?
The X factor in this game is Trey Donaldson. I think the team is at its best when Trey Donaldson has the ball in his hands and he is controlling the offense and letting Danny Wolf and Vlad Golden work off each other off ball. Trey Donaldson is the most efficient ball handler. He's the best passer, and he hits tough shots as well. I think when Danny Wolf is controlling the offense gets a little sporadic, and it becomes more turnover prone. And the fact is, he works better when he simplifies his game, when he's moving downhill towards the basket, or when he's posted up in good positions where he can set his feet and make those tough twos. And I think that when you put him in that position with Trey Donaldson as a ball handler, I think that's the most successful way you beat a team that's so turnover dependent like UC San Diego.
And I would say that Trey Donaldson, this Michigan team needs his offense probably more now than ever. But I really want him to primarily focus on playmaking and just try to get his buckets within the flow of the offense, because when he's out there and he's forcing it, that's when you normally see not the best Trey Donaldson. But if you go out there, have an emphasis on playmaking first and then try to get your offense throughout the game, I think that could work very well for Michigan, because like I said, when he's on and he's scoring as well, that only helps Vlad Golden, that only helps Danny Wolf, and that helps set up the pick and roll as well.
I agree. And I think that going into a tournament like this, you need someone who's that spark plug off the bench, and I think that's something Michigan was lacking for so long throughout the year. But then they leaned on LJ Kayson in the Big Ten title game, and then now I think that he has that pull now with Dusty Bay. Like, okay, he came out when we needed him most, and he took over the game and kept us in that game. That's what you need in March. You need someone who can be that spark plug off the bench, and I think that now you're going to see some more minutes given to LJ Kayson in some sets where you see Michigan struggling and the other team might be going on a run, and you need that energy. And I think that LJ Kayson is going to be a critical piece. If Michigan's going to go anywhere in terms of the tournament, I think that you're going to need some strong bench presence from Reuben Jones, Roddy Gale, and LJ Kayson.
Yes, and Will Shedder as well. But yeah, LJ Kayson as that ball handler off the bench. Michigan, if they're going to do damage in the tournament, like make the Sweet 16 or even farther, I think LJ Kayson will at least have a role in doing so. You guys said a couple of very interesting things that I want to respond to, and I think it makes me feel better about Michigan, quite frankly. Yeah, Trey Donaldson, he's got to be the primary ball handler. Unfortunately, and you know how often I've waxed poetic about Danny Wolf. The man sometimes is way too loose with his dribble. He throws some of the... He makes some of the most beautiful passes you'll see, and then some of the most lackadaisical ones on the next possession. And it makes you want to pull your hair out. But Danny Wolf, when he's not the primary ball handler, is extremely effective in a lot of ways, whether it's running the pick and roll, whether it's offensive rebounds, whether it's even rim protection, whether it's off, like, you know, a dribble drive and getting to the basket where he can finish as well, or even a catch and shoot three. Danny Wolf has the potential of having a breakout tournament and maybe even helping his draft stock as long as he's used correctly. You saw in the latter part of the regular season, both Trey Donaldson and Danny Wolf struggled big time, and that's why Michigan finished the regular season so poorly, including multiple double-digit losses to good teams. But in the Big Ten tournament, Trey Donaldson showed up and played really 3 good games in a row. Danny Wolf played a couple of elite games, and even against Wisconsin made some plays down the stretch. And you mentioned, Justin, their ability in terms of Golden and Danny Wolf. They had a really banner day, I would say, in rim protection. We can talk about Wisconsin and how they weren't hitting the 3-ball, and that's very true. They were as cold as ice. But when guys like John Tonje were going to the rim, or Blackwell, and trying to finish, Golden and Wolf were very disciplined. They weren't fouling. They were altering shots without fouling. And the one thing about UC San Diego, they have one guard who is very, very dangerous. His name is Awi Wanima. I think I pronounced that right. Tate Jones. He's 6'6". He leads the team. He leads the team in points, rebounds, and assists. He's got great size. But one thing that he does not do, he does not shoot the 3-ball. He relies a lot on getting points in the paint. And if Danny Wolf and Vlad Golden are there patrolling and being disciplined with their rim protection, I think that Tate Jones's effectiveness will be limited. And I understand that Tate Jones also has very, very good size for a guard. But when you're a team like UC San Diego, when you've only had 3 quad 1 matchups on the entire season, 2 of them wins, you haven't seen anything like Vlad Golden and Danny Wolf. So I think whether it's with their defense and also with their scoring, Wolf and Golden will propel Michigan to victory. And Trey Donaldson, be that primary ball handler, because if it's Danny Wolf, if Danny Wolf is the primary ball handler, I believe he will turn the ball over at least 5 times.
Oh, yeah.
And that can't happen.
I also believe, from your point about the UC San Diego, I think that they haven't seen guys that can guard the way that Reuben Jones can guard, and the way that Cheddar can guard. These are two guys who are really good defenders. They have the size, they have the athletic ability to guard someone like that. And I think that it just leaves him in a spot where he's going to be looking for open areas that aren't going to be there. The paint's going to be clogged up with 2 7-footers. You got an athletically dominant Reuben Jones who's been playing great defense down the stretch. I think that it's a bad matchup for UC San Diego. I really do.
Yeah, and shout out Reuben Jones as well, because he's had a rough year offensively, but in terms of perimeter defense, he's been there all season long. And you need guys like that. And Reuben Jones has gotten quite a bit of slander. I still cringe every time he throws up a three-pointer, but hey, he even made some of those in the Big Ten tournament. We're going to need him. Freddie Felt 313 in the chat.
Shout
UC
out.
San Diego's schedule included University of Phoenix, ITT Technical Institute, and Baker College. Go Blue.
Did they play Lawrence Tech?
They probably did. Time to go
Shout out
dancing.
Did they play Everest as well?
One more point before I throw it over to JBSmooovv. For all of you who are wondering about Michigan State, tomorrow we are going NCAA tournament heavy because we have to react to whatever happens tonight with Michigan and UC San Diego, good or bad. And Michigan State plays their opening tournament game tomorrow. So that's when JB will take center stage, and that's where hopefully all the rest of us are happy tomorrow.
Yeah, please.
Everybody can kumbaya on that aspect of it, man. But just getting into it all, the March Madness of it all, this is where I'm hoping Dusty May absolutely shines and continues to motivate this team to play exactly the way we saw in the tournament. A lot of what you guys were talking about, that's what they put on display there. And to see them be able to employ their speed, their length to their advantage is where I'm hoping this team goes and just works this team a little bit better than a lot of people might be expecting. And that's why I got to ask you guys, before we move off the subject, what is your final score prediction?
Final score prediction, I am going to go Michigan 82, UC San Diego 74.
Light work. What up, though, KG?
Michigan 77, UC San Diego 68.
Michigan 78, UC San Diego 70.
So matchups that there's going to be some nervous moments tonight. I think we would all agree with that, but hopefully Michigan pulls away comfortably at the end. And you know what? Since we've blown through a lot of breaks, let's take one now, and then when we get back, I know Justin has some other tournament matchups to look for today, and we're going to respond to that. And if any of you in the chat have some tournament matchups that you're looking forward to, drop them as well. We will respond. But first, let me tell you about Mark White. Dreaming of a new home but feeling the financial pinch? Mark White & Associates, your trusted real estate experts, are here to help. Mark White and his team will pay up to $5,000 of your closing costs. That's right, I said $5,000. Call Mark White & Associates today at 248-290-8242 or visit them at markwhitesells.com. Again, call Mark White today at 248-290-8242 to make your dreams come true.
And also stay connected with Woodward Sports on all social platforms. Follow us on Facebook, X, Instagram, along with YouTube, Twitch, and TikTok for the latest sports news, live updates, and behind-the-scenes action. Don't miss out. Why? Because we also have, in addition to all of that, we got the giveaways. And we want to make sure that you guys are going home with cash, tickets to games, getaways, jerseys as well, some of your favorite players from across the Detroit sports landscape. So stay tapped in, hit that follow button now, and be part of Detroit's #1 digital sports network. That's at Woodward Sports everywhere.
How do people feel about getting a Planet Fitness membership for $15 a month? How do they like working out in a clean and spacious gym that's filled with equipment for every workout? And how about free fitness training in the judgment-free zone that leaves them feeling energized all day long? Join Planet Fitness today with the free PF app, online or in club, and start getting that big fitness energy for $15 a month.
Head to WoodwardSports.com and click on Shop. Get the latest in Detroit sports apparel and exclusive Woodward Sports gear. WoodwardSports.com can get the whole team outfitted. Love the Pistons, Red Wings, and Tigers? We got something for you, too. Shop online at WoodwardSports.com.
Feldman Chevrolet, Michigan's #1 Chevy dealer, is kicking off the game with the best prices on all cars, trucks, and SUVs, like this 2024 Silverado for just $296 a month, or this 2025 Equinox for as low as $371 a month. Our locations in Novi, Highland, New Hudson, Livonia, and Lansing means we have the perfect Chevy right in your backyard. Get the home team advantage every day at Feldman Chevrolet, Michigan's #1 Chevy dealer.
A ton of fun, a ton of sports, and a ton of man meat. Welcome to the Woodward Heavyweights, live daily 5 to 7 p.m. on Woodward Sports.
All right, Woodward sports fans, whether you're hitting the game or just chilling, Jars Cannabis has you covered. They are home to Michigan's largest line of recreational cannabis products, 27 locations across the state, 9 alone in Metro Detroit, so there's always one right around the corner for you. And don't fear, because if you live in Grand Rapids, Madison Heights, or Milan, Michigan, stores are popping up your way very, very soon. If you don't have time to stop in store, you can always check them out online at jarscannabis.com, because you know what? I know you want to get high.
Hey, what up though, people? Welcome back to this Wake Up Woodward. And you know what I'm going to need you to do, chat family? You guys are the most important part of this thing, but I need you guys to go and smash that like button. A lot of research, a lot of info, a lot of ball knowing going on today, from Pistons to draft a prospect breakdowns to now March Madness, making sure that we guys keep you up to date with everything. And I just got to say, my guys are doing their thing. Shout out Justin, KG, Flannel, everybody who's talking in. And you know what? The booth boys are like, hold on, we got something to say too. And Willie B's been besides himself, KG. Flannel hasn't been here during the break this time.
Y'all tripping. I mean, like,
you missed the break, man. You missed one. Hey, Willie B, why? And you know what? JB said, I got stuff to add on to that. I'm like, oh, okay, booth.
He said specifically Sam was tripping, but he said that we thought we saying it's a cakewalk. I don't think
it's not.
Nobody said it's a cakewalk.
It's not a cakewalk, but like, you know, y'all sleep on mid-major schools.
Talk into the mic.
What's the mic at? Right there. You see that?
Pull it up.
Yeah, pull it. There you go.
I don't want to break it. That's why I'm.
No, you good.
Yeah.
But
good.
you know, you can't sleep on
he's
them
strong.
guys. Don't. Yes, indeed. And those
The mic is in front of your
never to
face.
sleep with. Mid-major schools is never to sleep with, because those are ones that cause an upset. So in that case, those are reasonable what you said with the scores. Sam, it's reasonable, but it's not a cakewalk when it comes to major schools, because that's when you sleep. That's when you end up getting upset. So in that case, Michigan got to take every first round seriously, because that's not the one. That's not the one we just sleep with. So in that case, they got to take this seriously if you want to go further.
Just remember, Willie, though.
Yes, indeed.
I was the first person to bring up that UC San Diego leads the entirety of college basketball in terms of the NCAA Division I in turnover differential, and they have the #1 player in steals per game in Hunter Gray. I am not overlooking UC San Diego in any way, shape, or form, but at the end of the day, Michigan, I think, is a better team. And, of course, if Michigan plays lazy, they turn the ball over, they do things strategically that we don't agree with, like having Danny Wolf be the primary ball handler, they could, of course, get got. If Michigan shoots 3 of 21 from behind the arc, which they've done before, they could get got. But at the end of the day, I think Michigan will win.
Of course. But can't sleep on the mid-major schools. Those are tough at times.
And I mean, I have to agree with Willie on this one as well too. I don't want to. Michigan is the better team, and I don't want to completely, dismantle UC San Diego. They're 30-4 for a reason. They went into their Big West championship game and won handily. But still, at the same time, I think the reason why some people could be a little bit nervous with this, as Justin said, this matchup seems like fool's gold if you're trying to bet on UC San Diego to win this game, is because of, one, Michigan's turnovers, the 3-point percentage, and also the fact that in the past 12 games they are 1-11 against the spread when they are the favorites. But as I said, once again, this is still fool's gold. Michigan is still the better team. Dusty May and Blatt and Golding, their experience in this tournament will push them past the first and second round. But from there on, that's when you have to rely on the rest of your team to kind of get things done as well too. I definitely think that Michigan will win this game not handily. This will be a still a tough matchup, but still I don't see a problem with Michigan covering the spread and winning this game by at least 4 or 5.
No, trust me, JB. I am all too familiar with Michigan not covering spreads and winning games by the slimmest of margins against teams that have losing records in the Big Ten, like Penn State, like Northwestern, like Rutgers, like Ohio State. And trust me, I had a lot of concerns about this team. But in the Big Ten tournament, in games where they were not favored, they did win all of those games. And against Purdue, that's really where they showed what Michigan basketball can be. And heck, even against a team like Maryland, who is a good team, they're a 4 seed. They've even shown that they can get obliterated in turnovers, but still win. So they've done it in a variety of different ways, and I'm still confident in Michigan winning. But of course, UC San Diego, there are pathways to them winning as well. I just don't think it's going to happen.
This is their first time in the tournament as well, too, so you know the nerves are going to be out there, especially going up against this Michigan team, which, let's be honest, they know their record. They know their history as well, too, so they're going to be very nervous out there, and still, regardless, I think Michigan, if they play smart, they will come out on top of this game.
Yeah, definitely. And Dusty May, sort of like how we've said trust in Brad Holmes, Dusty May is the guy for me with Michigan. It's putting these players in the best possible position to succeed, because what I've heard from all of you all, no matter what people believe is going to be in terms of this game, in terms of if it's going to be a difficult matchup or if it's going to be light work, is that this is going to be a game of strategy for Michigan. We know the type of talent that they have, but what are they going to play? When KG let off with, hey, are they going zone or are they going man? When you talk about Flannel Sam and Justin, the type of offense are you going to run? Is it one that's going to be dominated by your bigs, or are you putting the ball in your guards' hands and the guys that have a little bit more speed end to end, as well as in that half court? And so it's like, if Dusty May is showing up with that same strategy, which was on full display in the Big Ten tournament, which looked a little bit to a lot bit different between the Michigan State bookend games during the regular season, that's where I do believe, as Willie B said, you don't want to sleep on those smaller schools, but I also don't think that the way that this game, at least from the outside perspective, has been covered, I've seen more narrative that would suggest that Michigan is more or less the team that's in danger. Whereas when we look at what they just did in this Big Ten, that's why I do believe that Michigan is a squad that is primed to go out there and just handle business.
Yeah, it's a trendy upset pick. Justin highlighted it earlier.
Yep.
And when you look at raw stats, why did I say stats like that? When you look at raw stats,
you love stats.
Let's go raw.
There's certainly some things that are cause for concern, but there's a lot of context to those. And before we get to everybody's favorite segment, What's Trending, Justin, are there any other games today to watch for? Any potential good games, upsets? Take it wherever you'd like.
Yes, there's plenty of great games on today, and it actually starts with the first game of the day. It's Louisville and Creighton, two teams that have... One is underseeded, and then Creighton lost they're one of their best players earlier in the season, so they are ranked pretty well. But I think Louisville will take this game. They're top 10 in the net. They really have a deep team. They can shoot. They can D it up. I think they're a really solid team, so look for that out of the first game. A lot of trendy upset pick is High Point over Purdue. I don't see it personally. I think Purdue is too good offensively for them to get upset, especially against a High Point team who doesn't defend the three well, and that's exactly what Purdue will want to do. Another trendy upset pick is McNeese over Clemson. I also don't see that. I think Clemson has a lot of quality. They really control the game with their pace, and I think that they're going to be able to control that game. I don't think McNeese has enough offensive firepower to really take down a team like Clemson. The first upset of the day, in my opinion, will happen at 4:05 as VCU takes on BYU. That is 11 seed over a 6. I really like VCU. They D it up. They have one of the best defenses in the country. BYU can be ran off the three-point line, which is exactly what happened when they played Houston. And when they are not shooting well, especially in a tournament game, when the balls are known to be overinflated, I think that is a very good recipe for an upset there. So my first upset of the day is VCU over BYU, and I saw JB get a little fist pump in there. So shout out to JB. And then at 4:35, I think there's another upset. I think that Georgia is going to beat Gonzaga. Everyone loves Gonzaga for some reason, and I don't get it. I know they're ranked high in the net, but they play in a weak conference. I know they've gone to the Sweet 16 for, I think, 9 straight years. I just don't think this is a prime Gonzaga team, and this Georgia team is physical, and it will put this Gonzaga team off balance. I think Georgia's going to come out with the win. Battle of 2 legendary coaches, Calipari versus Bill Self in Arkansas, Kansas, 7-10. I like the upset there as well. I think Arkansas is getting it hot at the right time. They are inconsistent, but I think to win one tournament game is very doable for this team. They got a lot of talent. They got a lot of shooters. And I also think Kansas is ass. I mean, straight up. I think that Hunter Dickinson is an absolute cancer to any team he's on.
Fact.
I think that he just
about to get bad.
Completely bogs down in offense. They have no flow. They have no ability to get it going when it's not going right. So I think that they're an upset candidate as well. Missouri Drake. Drake's another very trendy upset pick, but they play so slow. They're one of the slowest paced teams in the country. And yes, that does do something, but when you're playing a team like Missouri who shoots the lights out, a guy like Caleb Grill on that team averages threes a game, I really like Missouri in that game to honestly shoot them out of the gym. And the last game of the night is the Michigan game that I would like to watch out for, which I think Michigan rolls by 8 points and beats them.
Yeah, Justin, real quick, I didn't hear the first game that you said, but what about Maryland? Because I've been on the train that they could get upset. What do you think about that game?
Maryland's tomorrow, and I was only trying to talk about games for today.
Oh, my bad.
But in terms of Maryland, I do not think Maryland is going to get upset. I think Maryland is one of the best teams in the tournament. They're severely underseeded. I think that they should be a 3 seed at least. And I think that the only reason I don't have them going that far is because they have to run into Florida. And I think Florida is the second best team in the country.
Oh, yeah, without a doubt.
Florida's been a wagon.
Spinney took them to win, I think.
Do you want a prediction that a lot of you are going to get really mad at?
What up, though?
Hunt Dick is taking Kansas to the Elite Eight.
Book it.
Hunt Dick is taking Kansas.
You want to bet on that?
Bro, if your nickname is Hunt Dick, bro, it's over with, dog. I don't want to hear shit about that.
I made it up, by the way, so.
It's over, bro.
Hey, can we bet on that?
What do you want to bet?
I'd love some
coffee bet?
Yeah, you already owe me lunch, so from the Pistons. So I mean, I'll run it back. Okay, another lunch bet. You got. I'll even give you Kansas to the Sweet 16. I don't even need the Elite Eight.
Stand on business, Sam. Your boy Hunt Dick out there.
Yeah, go support that dick. Go support that dick.
We've had some clippable moments today. Oh my!
Sam worship the dick.
I don't worship that
worship
far.
a dick.
But they got a couple of good experienced guards as well, KJ Adams and DeJuan Harris. Not that they've necessarily had the best season.
Some of the worst depth in the country.
Okay, fine. I'll tell you what, though. You know how I feel. I think this idea that he was ass at Michigan is the most insane thing I've ever heard in my entire life.
He just failed to improve.
He wasn't that guy, Sam.
All he had to do was learn how to dish the ball out of the paint when he gets a double. And he still can't do it at Kansas. It's been 4 years, and he still can't pass out of a double team. He is ass.
He's not ass.
Hunt Dick is not a 1A.
Right? He's a cancer. He's supposed to be one of the best players in the country, and his team's a 7 seed. How is that not a predictive measure?
No, Kansas has had a very disappointing season. I'm not going to deny that.
And it's his fault.
It's not his fault.
It is his fault.
Just like it wasn't his fault that they didn't make the tournament in his last year. They made the Elite Eight in his first year, and they won the Big Ten. Can we agree that Hunter Dickinson's freshman year was elite? Can we at least agree on that?
Yes.
It was.
Fine.
And then he got soft.
His sophomore year, they made the Sweet 16.
Yep, soft for sophomore.
Even though their regular season was not great. I seem to remember Caleb Houston throwing up a lot of bricks. I will just say that. And then remember, in Hunter Dickinson's last year with Michigan, they had 3 games down the stretch. They had Wisconsin, they had Illinois, and they had Indiana. All of those games went to overtime. 2 of those games that they lost. The game that they won was because Hunter Dickinson made a game-tying 3. And in those 3 games, Hunter Dickinson was averaging in a hyper-efficient 26 and 13. But he was ass.
Sam,
I mean, he's hyper-efficient at not getting any better. I mean, he's been the same player since freshman year. I mean, that's pretty hard to do.
Sam, why is the
Go
NBA?
check the numbers. He's the exact same player he was his freshman year.
Why is the NBA not hunting for dick?
Why was the NBA not hunting for Drew Timme? It's because of the archetype, bro. And nobody would tell me that Drew Timme was ass in college. They're like the same type of player.
Drew Timme clears Hunter Dickinson by so much.
Not by so much.
Yes,
but he's not
no.
going to the NBA either, so don't talk shit about Hunter Dickinson in the NBA. I got to fucking look behind me.
That's right. Protect the dick.
Don't
defend the dick.
Drew Timme is toiling in the G League because that's the
Don't dance for your life depends on it.
I get it. I get it. But don't mention the fucking NBA. Drew Timme was ass too.
He's protecting that dick at all costs.
Drew Timme actually
going balls deep with it.
This segment was over when he said her dick. I'm sorry, dog. I'm sorry.
It wasn't just that he said it. It was like the twang to
Right.
her dick. I was
He
like,
tried to get that shit off. He did.
Going balls deep with it.
boy.
You know what?
I've been tears. Cooking.
Is Hunter Dickinson? Let me guess your stat prediction tonight. 4 points on 2 of 15. Maybe 5 rebounds, 4 turnovers. Is that what's going to happen?
12 points, 8 rebounds.
Yep, that's
and 0 assists.
That's a Hunter stat line right there.
Hey, you know what else? That overrated John Calipari, another first-round exit. Go win more than 1 championship with all that
you
talent.
better show up with a shiesty on tomorrow if they win. That's all I expect it. You better do it. I better see Flano shiesty up. Oh yeah, baby, let's go into Wisconsin and lose by 20 with a shiesty and score under 10 points and be our worst player on the floor after trying to act like I have the biggest cock imaginable.
Hey, we nutted on ourselves when C.J. Gardner-Johnson did it. We blew our wads. We blew our wads. Oh my God, the ski mask. C.J. Gardner-Johnson represents the city so well. We're the villains. We blew our wads. We were nutting on command when we saw that.
Yeah, but Michigan's a bunch of like.
Damn, Randall, you
Michigan
turning
is
red, Flano.
completely different from Detroit. Detroit actually has that in its culture. This is Michigan.
And Sam, you not loyal, bro. I know this is off topic, but Pat O'Connor is from Illinois, bro. He went to a high school in Chicago. You ain't fucking loyal, bro. Like
now we're talking about Pat O'Connor.
Yeah.
Hey, you're gonna be on the Detroit arm for the Pat O'Connor propaganda team next show.
You goddamn right.
Next show.
You goddamn right.
Hey,
I hope
the
he goes out
heavyweights-
there and gets a sack in 17 games,
Hey,
bro.
and
Just
the
to prove you
heavyweights
wrong.
also part of the Pat O'Connor propaganda team. When did that happen? When did y'all become bathwater drinkers all
Hey,
of a
we
sudden?
blowing our wives all over this motherfucker.
Hey, he's blowing about a 24-year-old still in college.
He's blowing
this load over
Come on.
100 dick.
And y'all blowing your loads over a practice squad player.
Hey, I didn't blow my load.
That's
Pat
pause.
At least I'm not hunting dick, so that's fine.
Go Pistons.
Yeah, go Pistons.
Bro, get us to break, please, dog.
Hey, who
Please.
you want to say what up though to? JBSmooovv
We got to do Les Stanford and the bracket challenge.
Hey, it's my read.
and the bracket. We got a few hours left, man.
I think this all started with Willie calling us for tripping on the Michigan game.
I saw the blame for igniting this shit. That's great.
Les Stanford, Buick and GMC has great offers for everyone. Get a 2024 Envision AVE NIR for only $299 per month. Or try out the 2025 Sierra Crew Cab Elevation for only $229 per month. Don't forget about the 2025 Hummer EV SUV for only $799 per month. Get to Les Stanford today and check out their massive inventory. Les Stanford, Buick and GMC, LesStanford.com.
This is wild. I don't even know how we got here. But anyway, Woodward Sports is giving away more cash and prizes than anyone in Detroit. Get in on the March Bracket Challenge powered by Jugga
The link is in the chat right now.
The link is in the chat right now. Time.
Elite 8 happening. Book it.
I don't think any of that is happening. But look, the link is in the chat right now. You only have a few hours to sign up. First place, $1,000 in cash. Second place, a weekend getaway for 2 at Grand Traverse Resort. Brunch at Erie and golf as well too. And third place also gets something as well too. 2 tickets to the Detroit Pistons versus the Milwaukee Bucks with food and drinks courtesy of RHB Laboratories out in Troy. Head over to WoodwardSportsBracket.com. Sign up today. You only have a few hours because games kick off at noon.
How do people feel about getting a Planet Fitness membership for $15 a month? How do they like working out in a clean and spacious gym that's filled with equipment for every workout? And how about free fitness training in the judgment-free zone that leaves them feeling energized all day long? Join Planet Fitness today with the free PF app online or in club and start getting that big fitness energy for $15 a month.
Woodward Sports is at it again, giving away more cash and prizes than anyone in Detroit. Get into our March Bracket Challenge, powered by Jug and Nathan Neurosurgery. If you have the biggest basketball brain and get first place, you win $1,000, cold hard cash. But it doesn't stop there. Second place gets a weekend at Grand Traverse Resort in Traverse City, including brunch at Erie and golf. Third place, 2 club seats to see the Pistons versus Bucks with food and drinks courtesy of RHB Laboratories in Troy. You can pre-register now at woodwardsportsbracket.com. That's woodwardsportsbracket.com. Then, after Selection Sunday, fill out your bracket for your chance at $1,000 in cash money and more. Pick by mascot, choose by team colors, have your dog pick. No matter how you do it, go to woodwardsportsbracket.com right now and register. All powered by the best in the game, Chuck and Nathan Neurosurgery and Woodward Sports.
Stop searching for a vehicle and start finding one. Les Stanford Chevrolet Cadillac makes it easy. We harness the power of multiple dealerships and own the biggest selection of GM brands in the area to get you the car you need. With the Les Stanford Group, you'll have access to 4 different dealerships, providing you with more makes, more models, and more choices. We're connected to more than 1,000 vehicles, and with so many high-quality CPO vehicles available, you'll find new car quality at pre-owned prices. You can start and end your search at lesstanford.com today.
A ton of fun, a ton of sports, and a ton of man meat. Welcome to the Woodward Heavyweights, live daily 5 to 7 p.m. on Woodward Sports.
Feldman Chevrolet of Novi, Detroit's #1 Chevrolet dealer and the Chevrolet Dealer of the Year for 6 consecutive years. They got deals of the month. You can get a 2025 Chevy Silverado 1500 Crew Cab for only $199 a month. You can also get a 2025 Chevy Equinox for only $249 a month. Come see George Hawes and his team at Feldman Chevrolet of Novi.
And Caesar Sportsbook, the official sportsbook of us here at Woodward Sports. Scan that QR code on screen. Use code word Woodward1000. Deposit up to $1,000. But all you have to do is place a minimum of a $20 bet. And if it doesn't hit, they'll throw it right back into your account. There are so many games today. Guaranteed that if something doesn't hit, you'll get some money right back into your account. Scan that QR code. Use code word Woodward1000 and make some money today.
Make some money. What up, though, people? Welcome back. It is Wake Up Woodward. And you know what? We ain't even gonna belabor it. Everybody's favorite segment. You might have some rivals for today, man, because these segments have been fire. But let's get sparking word to Josh, JBSmooovv.
Let's do it.
And now it's time for the most electrifying segment on the internet. Bum, bum, bum. It's What's Trending with JB. Live on Wake Up Woodward.
Somebody that's not hunting dick.
JBSmooovv.
Let's ride. As
Oh
Lady
my
James
God.
Clay looks up at me. No.
Yo, what's up, chat family? Fellas, I got something special for you guys, but first, I gotta let you know this. Well, question. You guys remember the store Stephen Barry's, right?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. That was the spot.
Oh, well, Will doesn't know about Stephen Barry, but it was kind of like an Old Navy sports kind of clothing store. I'll say something like that. Well, one of the people who their clothing line was at Stephen Barry's is now trying to bring it back as Stephon Marbury plans to relaunch
the Starberries coming back.
Starberries
for $15.
That's good.
What do you guys
The
think about this?
Starberries, the
Starberries coming
first
back?
cheap basketball shoe to ever market, bro. I mean, I'll be down for it. It's a good retro collect if you a shoe guy.
Yeah,
I wouldn't mind doing that.
I'm a Starberry fan, man. I am.
Same here.
I am. I had the Starberries. I remember when he went and did this, and he was a bucket out there on Madison Square Garden, man. And
Yeah.
so I'm all for this, man.
He's
Definitely.
Chinese Jordan, though. I always called him Chinese Jordan because he went to China and just he was a revelation in China. They built a statue of dog in China.
Yep. China MVP. Over China.
But yeah, Starberries are coming back. And like I said, I got something special for you guys because, you know, the tournament starts today. So what better way to kick off the tournament than with some trivia? And we got a bunch of people in the chat, a bunch of smart brains here in the room as well, too. Flannel, this should be right up your alley as well. So Let's start this off right. First question. This is the 86th tournament with 37 programs winning a national title dating back to 1939. How many games have been played in the NCAA tournament history?
Oh God!
I'm not even going to attempt to answer that.
What?
I'm good. I'm
How
out.
many games have
How
been
many
played?
games?
Chase
have been
know though.
played
Look at Chase
in
computing
the
right now.
NCAA tournament
I bet you
history?
he know the answer.
I appreciate that I get this rep, but I am not good at math.
I have no idea.
3,442.
Just
Way
say
under.
it. Just
Yeah,
say it.
like 3,000. That ain't even sound right.
12,000?
What was it one more time, Justin?
Well, there's 64 teams.
4,442.
Don't try and go up. He trying to go up.
That's what I just said.
4,000 if they've been playing since 39,
just
bro.
three.
That's a lot more games than that.
Oh, all right. I didn't hear. I thought he said it.
You have to
I
do
thought he
it
said
like
since
this.
'86.
No, since 1939.
Changing my. All right,
There's
so that-
32 games, then 16 games, and then 8 games, and then 4, and then 2, and then
there's
1.
68
So
games.
then, whatever the math is on that, and then I would, just multiply that by how many years.
68.
So that's a rough estimate. That's
6,120. That's my new
this
answer.
is a simple formula to get.
Is that
close
your
to the
final
answer.
answer?
Hey, for
6,120.
my wrestling fans out there, this sound like the Steiner math promo we trying to cut right now. Like, the 141th to
Well,
2/3.
Justin, I will let you know this. Your first guess was a lot closer. 3,703.
Dude, yes.
Oh,
You guys
wow.
were poo-pooing my answer and making me think it was someone different. It's great.
Damn,
Check
yeah.
your own answer.
I'll shut the fuck up there. Damn.
I mean,
No, Justin was pressured.
He was. He was.
Take your
Yeah,
victory lap.
all right. I am gonna take my victory. That was pretty solid by me. I'm not even remotely a math guy, so.
I mean, it was
job,
pretty
Justin.
close. Good job,
All I
Justin.
didn't know is that there are 68 games in every college basketball tournament. So that's where I got my baseline from.
I don't know. These Gen Zers pretty good with that Google, man. He got his phone right there on his lap.
You could ask Chase. I only pulled out the calculator to do some math.
Well,
I'm
these
not
next
doing
ones
that in
should
my
be a lot easier for you guys. How about this? Duke is a 1 seed in this tournament yet again, tied with Kansas for a second time. How many times has Duke been a 1 seed?
35.
I'm gonna go 12.
12? That seems low.
20.
I'll say somewhere in the 20s,
20,
maybe like
22.
25.
22, 23?
Flannel, you were close. 15.
Ooh.
Really?
Oh, really?
15.
Duke's only been a dominant program since like the mid 80s.
And you said that with no hezzy, too.
Yeah, I mean, the history of their program is basically Coach K.
Yeah.
Which
Yeah.
is a great history. I mean, he's maybe the best to ever do it, but they didn't have like an ancient history like teams like Kansas, for example.
Yeah, factual there. Next up, only 4 times has the number 1 overall seed won the NCAA tournament since the selection committee began ranking number 1 seeds in 2004. Can you name the 4 teams to win it all seeded at number 1?
UConn.
Florida.
UNC.
Yeah.
Kentucky.
So, I'm gonna take a quick stab. Baylor in 21, or was that Gonzaga?
Is
was
this
against-
number 1 overall seed?
Yeah.
Number 1 overall.
Gonzaga was
UConn.
undefeated, so they definitely were the
Oh,
Yeah.
Facts.
And
UNC
Ben Gordon.
in 2017.
Florida in 2008.
Florida. Yep.
Definitely Florida's
Memphis?
second one.
No.
Florida's correct. Florida.
Florida's correct.
Did UConn?
Last year?
Yeah,
He won.
UConn last
UConn
year.
is correct as
UConn.
well.
Yeah, okay, I thought so.
UConn, Kentucky, Kansas.
The Anthony Davis
Yeah.
Kentucky team in 2012.
Correct on Kentucky. You got one more left.
One more left. Okay.
Gotta be Kansas because they won it.
Villanova.
Second Villanova team.
Yep.
Yeah.
That is
Were
not
they the number
correct.
1 seed? Yeah,
Wow, really?
I don't think they was the number 1 overall seed.
Was it 09?
Duke lost last
2013 is the year.
Louisville? That'd be the Louisville.
Yeah,
Louisville
Louisville.
team.
Yep, this is Louisville.
Yeah.
Good, don't bring me back to
Rob
2013.
Dude, I was
They robbed
at that
Michigan.
game.
They robbed Louisville.
You was at that game?
Yeah, I was at that Louisville Michigan.
That was
game.
robbery.
I'm
That
still
clock
mad
was
about
so
that.
clean.
That
It
red
was,
flag. They
bro.
called that foul.
The fact they called that goaltend
I
bullshit.
hate Luke Hancock so much.
So do I.
Bum.
Yeah.
Who just got hot. But then again, we had one of those in the first half. Spike Albrecht. Say what you want about Spike Albrecht. Bum.
Garbage.
If I'm going to call Luke Hancock a bum, I got to call Spike Albrecht a bum.
Yeah.
He's a quality 6 man in college.
That was the Kevin Ware year, too,
Not
right?
act like he was,
He
you
broke
know,
his
broke
leg.
his leg in
Yeah.
half.
crazy. But
Yeesh.
Well, I got one more for you guys, and it's sort of similar to the last question. There has only been one time where all 4 number ones have reached the Final Four. Surprisingly, that Final Four, like this year, is in San Antonio as well. What year was it?
2009.
Bonus points if you can give me the 4 teams.
2009.
What were the 4 teams?
UConn,
North Carolina,
Michigan State, North
UConn,
Carolina.
Michigan State.
Yep.
Butler? The Butler year?
No.
Kansas.
So Kansas is correct. North Carolina is correct as well too. UCLA and Memphis.
Oh, Memphis.
Yeah.
Chris Douglas year.
Oh,
Derrick
yeah,
Rose.
it was. Yep.
2009 when they Final Four.
God, I wanted Memphis to win so bad.
Me too.
The real ones don't just remember Derrick Rose.
No,
Chris Douglas
Roberts who carried their team to scoring flat
Chris
out.
Douglas Roberts, stud.
Cass Tech, Northwestern, Detroit.
Shout out.
Shout out once again. That was my NCAA little tournament quiz for you guys.
That was fun.
Passed pretty well.
No, that was a vibe.
Shout out to JB, man.
Yes,
What's
sir.
trending? Always cooking up with something,
Boy.
brother. Always, man. Woodward Sports is MVP. And like we said, you guys stay tapped in with March Madness. We're going to have the watch party doing E&E today starting at 2 o'clock just to kick off March Madness. And if you haven't gotten the opportunity to, go on ahead and fill out your bracket now. Give yourself opportunity to win cash, maybe a trip, Detroit basketball tickets. What's your favorite what's your favorite basketball team in the NBA?
Pistons.
The Pistons. All right, cool. So if you guys understand what we're talking about here, listen, the link is also pinned in the chat. Go on ahead and get that finished and send a link to somebody else too. Give them an opportunity to be able to win.
Yeah, that 1K is mine though. Sorry, guys. Sorry. I need that.
The worst thing is we all know that Kathy will win or something like that.
Right.
Or like at my wife's work, it'll be like Denise in accounting or some bullshit like that.
Yeah.
You
My
don't know how
sister's
many
won a
times
pool in
people won off
back-to-back
that.
years, and she's just picked the favorite.
Back-to-back years.
Well, that's the thing. As long as the only real hard and fast rules is never pick a 16 and never pick a 15 and usually never pick a 14. But other than that, you could do like, oh, their colors look pretty and probably do just as well as like me or Justin. It's sickening.
Yep, I know someone who wins off that as well too. Just the color of the jerseys. Just, oh, I like this jersey. It's cute. And then bam, they win.
Dog, this has been a show of revelations for Flannel Sam, dog, and I absolutely love it. On the, Cade Cunningham energy, and you got March Madness starting today, man. It's been an epic show. And the boys have been cooking up again. I ask you guys definitely go ahead and smash that like button to support the WUW Crew.
Working hard in here.
Hey, working hard in here, man. It is a lot going on, and it's something that makes you real comfortable to know, the type of content that we're serving up. I already text Noah. Bro, we got like 4 of them things today in terms of segments. So shout out to the crew for cooking up. JBSmooovv, what do you want to say what I'm done to?
We just got to do the Grand Slam.
Hey, I was about to pick up that read right now, and I'm ecstatic. For this time of the year, we meet so many of our chat family members now. The previous 2 or 3 of these that we've done right here at the Grand Slam Fest. I know Kavasi Chase was one of those people as well. So Detroit, get ready. Tigers opening day is here on April 4th. Join Woodward Sports for the biggest and best party in the D, the Grand Slam Festival. Outdoor tent party at the Detroit Opera House. So we're right in the middle of the action, man. You guys, I'm telling you want to be down there. The broadcast is brought to you by Jars Cannabis, Mad Packs, and White Claw, where drinks will be flowing, smoke clouds will rise, and the party won't stop. WSN broadcasts will go all day, so don't miss out. Get your tickets today at GrandSlamDetroit.com. Woodward Sports is opening day, brought to you by Jars Cannabis, Mad Packs, and White Claw. Hey, and we are back, and we got a little bit of time maybe to answer a couple mailbag questions. If you guys can get those into the chat.
Keep it tidy. Keep it tidy.
Keep it tight, man. But you know what, man? I'll just ask you guys really quickly. We got March Madness here, and we talked a lot of that. But just with these Pistons, as they don't get flushed out, they have a few more games left down the season. What do you guys think that final win total is going to be for the Pistons?
51 still alive. I'm just going to say that for the record. So, but no, ultimately, they probably fall within the 46 to 48 range is where I got them. But just the way they continue to go out there and compete has been absolutely amazing. Cade Cunningham doing it on the biggest stages, man. Last night in prime time, it was great to see that. And, let's keep it rolling, bro. Let's keep it rolling.
Let's keep it rolling, man. And you know what? What about you, Flannel Son?
I'll go 46. That'll mean that they end their season 7-5.
Yeah.
Given that their schedule is pretty tough, I think that's about right.
Yeah, I'm staying with the 46 as well. But hey, Justin, Cavassier, before we wrap up, what about you guys? What's that final win total for the Pistons?
I'll say 47.
47.
Yeah.
Like it, man.
I'll go 48.
Hey man, we got everybody's on there, and then we'll end with the booth. What up, though?
It'll be up front. I'll get 45.
45
even.
I think 48 gets them the ones. I mean, four seed, the 4 seed.
48.
My bad. But go ahead, JB.
Give me 48 on this one. I'm still hunting for that 4 seed.
That's 4 seed. That's hosting the playoffs. That's Cade Cunningham, first team All NBA.
For sure.
That's
Yeah. Landslide.
Hey, that's the nuclear option. But is that the show? I think so. You
Hey,
guys see
Rando
anything in there?
Smalls at Feldman Mailbag. Who's your dark
There we
horse
go.
to make it furthest in the tourney? Kansas. I already mentioned it. Kansas Elite 8. If it happens.
Hunting it.
Right. Good dick hunting.
Well, we had some drops today.
Pause.
We had some great coverage.
Times
today.
10.
We had some segments that I know are going to blow up on the network today. It's all because of WUW Crew putting in that work. And we got a dope team. Shout out to our brother Matthew Broder, who I saw stop by the chat this morning as well. And we got the rest of the crew in the building, man. And so that dude, Justin, I'm glad that you've been able to be with us now a couple times this week. And you will in person. You work hard for us every single day, and we appreciate that. But glad to have you in studio, brother.
Yeah, it's great. I miss all of you guys so much, straight up. Chat fam, everyone in the studio. I'm excited to be here for the next 2 days and enjoy a beautiful run in the NCAA tournament by Michigan and not Kansas City 100 Day.
Cavassier Chase, what up, though, brother?
Hey, what up, though? Hope you guys have a good day. Got another birthday shout out. Happy birthday to my buddy Preston. Hope you have a good day. Known from up in Central Michigan, best bartender in O'Kelly's history. I'll put that on wax.
Hey.
So I appreciate you, my guy. Hope you have a good one. Congrats to you and your fiance Angela. And I hope you enjoy a fun weekend.
KG, Detroit's #1 draft pick in the building, man. It just continues to display that ball knower knowledge. What up, though, brother?
Hey, appreciate that, man. Always love my homie Justin is in the building, so shout out to him for stopping through with us. And y'all see this couch, bro? This is the best hair in all of Woodward sports on this couch
calling
right
y'all
here.
the hair
So
boys.
just make sure y'all pay y'all respects.
Don't forget my beard. I feel
Man,
like
okay.
hard on this.
Anyway, shout out to the chat, man. We appreciate y'all tapping in with us each and every morning, man, and supporting this team. We work hard for you, so we appreciate y'all reciprocating that. Shout out to my team. I love y'all. Let's keep it rolling, bro.
We got
Go
Trey
blue.
KG hates on beard.
We got the
Go
straight
blue.
hair,
Yeah, I
clean
hate
hair,
on beards because I
and
can't grow my own, goddamn it. I'm a notorious hater. Call me what you want.
Shout out to the booth, man. Hey, we got Willie B in the sound booth. I love
Big
the
Willie
hoodie,
style.
brother. What up,
Thank
though,
you.
man?
What up, though, right here, man? Hey, man, nothing like a good day of showing some good hospitality, a little more forearm, a little bit more crash out on the bass, and shoot. Hey, man, it's nothing. Every time I step in, it's a fun, exciting day. It's something different pops up, and so I'm happy to be here, man. That's how I'm here. That's
Hey,
it,
glad
man.
to have you here, brother. It's nothing like the teamwork and the brotherhood here, and that's what we thrive
sir.
on. We know everybody's going to work hard and is talented, but it's the loyalty everybody shows, the support that people show, the platform that people give, you know. And that's something that started even before Wake Up Woodward existed, when these guys would invite me on here to just do something that not a lot of other people were allowing me to do. So that's kind of what we continue to carry on. Shout out to Woodward Sports MVP in the TV booth. That is JBSmooovv.
Jay Bizzle.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? Shout out to everyone in the chat today joining us. Today's going to be a fun day. Try to do as little or as less work as you can to get close to a TV to watch as many of these games as possible. If you're betting, please be safe. Don't overdo it. And also, apparently, some breaking news. I guess the Boston Celtics just got sold. Yeah, 6.1 billion.
Ka-ching.
Just pocket change, right?
Right?
Flannel Sam, the vet of the squad, the vet of the network. Crash Out Flannel has made a glorious return this week, man. It's been epic. The shows have been dope. Hey, shout out to you, man. A ball knower across a lot of sports. Also, our Red Wings correspondent. We got both halves of Woodward Wings in the building today. What up, though,
Hey, Woodward Wings tomorrow recording. I wish there were more games to talk about, but we make do. There's certainly a lot of Red Wings storylines, but I expect you guys to sell out on the Pat O'Connor jersey. Sell them out.
I expect you to continue hunting dick.
Don't get digmatized, Flannel.
Ignited things across the network, right, Flannel?
Oh my God.
Don't get digmatized.
The like Big D Energy and Woodward Heavyweights, just like the Detroit or the Birmingham arm of the Pat O'Connor propaganda team.
Sam, Spinny had me cracking up though.
No, that shit was hilarious.
I was like, you know what? I like that, man. A man of conviction. But hey, one more.
Oh yeah.
That's right in the pocket. That's an assist from my man Flannel Sam. It's your boy Brandon Dan, aka Detroit Kool-Aid, your credential Pistons reporter and writer for the network, man. It's been a great day. It's been a good show. I'm telling you guys, go ahead and smash that like button if you haven't gotten the opportunity to. And thank you guys as well for sending in all the super chats and all the support. It's been Wake Up Woodward. You guys have a blessed day.